Shut up. The footy's on Triple M.
Every massive moment
You're guilty.
lives right here.
That's how you do it.
For Ream Hot Water and McDonald's, Triple M rocks footy.
Yes, the lights are ablaze. The lid's closed here at Marvel Stadium for this much-anticipated clash between North Melbourne and the Western Bulldogs. The Western Bulldogs, they're hurt by not having their captain out there tonight in Marcus Bontempelli. No Treloar, no Liam Jones. They'll be undermanned, but can they find some grit out there tonight? And North Melbourne, well, a lot looking at them to improve in 2025. They're going to have to break a 7-game losing streak against the Dogs to win here tonight. Tim Solly hosting the action. Great to have your company wherever you may be tuned in around Australia or the world for that matter. This is the Triple M Footy Prime Time for Mitsubishi Heavy Industries Air Conditioners Australia. Mitsubishi Heavy Industry Air Conditioners Australia. Put your trust in the experts in the air. I tell you what, they must have just upped their budget in the off-season because we've gone top shelf here tonight for this one. Starting in the back row, a man who won 3 premierships for the Lions, 2-time All-Australian, Indigenous Team of the Century. He's done it all, this man. Of course, I speak of the one and only Chrissy Johnson. Welcome to you, Jono.
Good on you, Timmy. You missed everything else. You've done very well there, but you missed the goal kicking. I kicked 21 goals for Fitzroy one year, and I was the leading goal
Won
kicker.
the goal kicking. I do know that one. I'm glad you pointed that one out, Jono. We don't want to let that go under the radar. Alongside you tonight, Jono, a lady who's been doing it all in the off-season. I'll tell you what, I've seen her at the F1 grid yesterday, and I saw her busting packs at a wedding only last week. She was
Catching the bouquet
there. She wants to get married, this lady. Sarah Hosking, welcome to you.
Thank you very much, Big Tim. Yes, I have been. I've been gallivanting everywhere at the moment this off-season, so I'm just excited to get back into footy. And again, what better way to do it than under the roof here at Marvel tonight?
Yes, how's the off-season been treating you, Sarah, for those that have been following the journey?
Oh, it's been fantastic. Normally, I like to get a few little holidays. And
yes, where have we been?
I actually haven't been overseas.
Oh, my God, that's unlike you. That's unlike you.
I took a lovely trip to Sydney,
yes.
Gold Coast,
good.
Down the coast of Mornington Peninsula as well. So, I make my way around.
Yes, you are a lady of the world. We know that.
Soon to go and visit Jess as well in WA. So,
yes, how's she going?
Sister Jess, she's good. She's good. Yeah, she's enjoying herself over there. It's been about 35, 40 degrees. So
it has, and it was that today here too. So
exactly.
It's quite warm conditions with the lid closed. We had the air conditioner on. We opened up the windows and the warm air just wafted in. So she's going to be a warm night here. Hey, how about this, guys? We have got a big announcement here tonight. She's making her official debut here with Triple M Footy. We're absolutely rapt to have her on board in 2025. She's ditched the AM transmission and she's over here on the big time with us, doing it big time. Of course, I speak of the one and only Jess Webster. Welcome to you.
Hello, Tim. Hello, team. I'm so happy to be here and already feels like home. It's great to be here. Can't wait. Footy is back and, looking forward to a good night.
Looking forward to the call with you tonight. And then we save the best for last here because we head downstairs out of the boundary to a man who's a Victorian state representative. He played many a game with the Saints. He's definitely the voice of Triple M, that's for sure. Of course, the speaker, the one and only Mickey Roberts. Welcome to you, Robbo.
It's bloody hot. It's like the humidity, it's like sitting in a sauna. It's unreal. They've got to pop this lid for sure because it is stinking hot down here. I tell you, taxing on the players. We've had a hot day, but I tell you what, it is warm inside the lid, that's for sure.
Just turn the aircon on, Robbo.
Yeah. Oh, wow. You blokes up in the pigeon coop, seriously. Wow. We're high alert, though, as you said, with the Dogs. Some of their best are out, the Bont and Treloar and Waitman, and you throw in Jamara in there, and Libba's got to pull his finger out being captain, that's for sure. And North Melbourne, I'm going to watch Nick Larkey because he had that cork calf, and so there was a decision made there. There's youngsters and leaders all over the joint. Parker's going to be fantastic for him. And Al Clarkson, his 20th year as coach, needs to be congratulated. But I'll run through, because we've got a few fresh faces in the joint. Western Bulldogs, so Kennedy's new. Dolan is a debutant. Jones is the sub, and Davison's a debutant as well. Over in North Melbourne, new face O'Sullivan. Caleb Daniel obviously is new. The sub is Tucker playing his 150th game. So you whack him on the bench for his 150th. Good luck with that. Parker and Darling are new. And Costanti is a debutant there. The Dogs to fall over the line, Big Timmy, but the Roos have got a real chance, I reckon.
Comprehensive as always, Robbo. That's why we love you here at Triple M Footy. Let's look at those new ins for those two sides, guys. Of course, the obvious glaring one there, Caleb Daniel, up against his old sides. Bosco, you've had that situation where you played for Carlton, then you went across and played for the Tigers. What are the emotions going through Caleb Daniel's body at the moment?
Yeah, I can only imagine he's got some sort of excitement coming into tonight as well. You get those nerves, but you typically see some of these players have an absolute blinder as well. So, I'm really excited to see how he goes and playing off that running half-back role, see what he can bring to this North Melbourne side, and I think he's going to get a lot of the footy.
As a player, are you happy to get it out of the way in round one against your side?
100%. Yeah. Well, I think everyone's got round one nerves too. So you've got to imagine, everyone's been waiting for this moment for, nearly 6 months, and it's been that long since the end of the season. So you're nervous as it is, but to then come up against your old side, I guarantee, there'll be a bit of laughs out there. I imagine that Libber at some stage will go and get into him a bit, but I'm just excited to see him hopefully have some consistent footy, because we know he was in and out of that Western Bulldogs side. He's part of that 2016 Premiership team. He's been All-Australian, and I still think he's got some good footy in him.
And, Jono, you were on that All-Australian selection panel when he got selected to be All-Australian, so his best footy is good enough.
Yeah, certainly, and I think if he brings his best football, I think that's the best. That's the best version of himself, and he brings out that, and then he's able to go through the football club, and everyone else is able to read off him and feed off him well at the same time. So, look, it's always going to be interesting to see when you're coming up against an old club and into Caleb Daniels, because, there's, as you said, Sarah, they're going to be after him. They'll certainly come after him, and whether it's Libber and even some of the younger fellas will go after him as well, and it's going to be quite interesting. It's always a bit of nerves. Not that I ever played against an ex-team, but always you would have a little bit extra nerves playing against your ex-team.
And Jess, let's talk about Lukey Parker, 3-time Bob Skilton medal winner at the Swans. He was captain there for 4 years. He brings some real experience to the helm here.
Absolutely. It's a really outstanding pickup, and, he was disappointed not to, keep his spot in that Sydney team, but, he gets a new lease on life and gets to almost kind of play as a rejuvenated player, and I think he's going to play a really fantastic role.
And I think you've got to look at some of these players like Luke Parker and Darling, which we'll talk about as well. They're nearly 300-game players, so what that does to this North Melbourne side in terms of experience, and you've heard Alistair Clarkson talk about how much that experience has helped just in pre-season, and what that can do for the players across pre-season has been outstanding. So excited for Luke just to be able to get back out there as well, but finish his career really strong. He's 32 years old, but also still got some great footy.
And it's going to be a different look forward line with Jack Darling down there helping out the big Suva down there, because he was one out so many times, along with Zerha as well. But now they've got an extra tall down there, and his experience, at West Coast, he's nearly played over 300 games, just kicked over 500 goals as well. So that's certainly going to give him more confidence going forward, because I remember watching North Melbourne last year. They come off half-back and they'd link up through hands quite a bit, and they'd always do that extra handball, so a bit scared to kick it forward. Now, today, and through this season of 2025, they should be able to go forward with confidence.
Let's look at the other side of the ledger, the Western Bulldogs. They've got the acquisition of Matty Kennedy, who played 24 games last year for Carlton, Sarah, so interesting to see him leave the Blues in the first place.
Yeah, it was, but he's always been, in those last couple of years, he's been in and out of the team a little bit and couldn't quite cement that role at times, right in the middle, but he was able to be pushed up forward. So, I think in this doggy side, he's really got a position and a spot to be able to hold, and if he can play some really good footy, then I think he can actually have a really big impact.
I think his best footy's outstanding.
Yeah.
We've seen him go through Carlton for so long, and he was always probably the fifth or the sixth mid that went through there and had a run with role at certain times. But certainly his best football is up there with some of the best midfielders going around. I love the way he uses the ball. I love the way he runs and spreads away from the contest as well.
But he's so powerful too.
He is.
You look at the way you mentioned about contest, but again, that body work around contest, but you put him up forward and he almost at times can play sort of that ground level role, but also have such a physical presence aerially as well.
And how about Sam Davison making his debut tonight for the Bulldogs? He's 5 years into a medical degree. He had a crack at the VFL last year, won the Fothergill Round Mitchell medal for the league's most promising young talent, Jess, and here he is tonight.
And he's not quite giving up his career in medicine either, so you can't do your degree or any kind of study while you're an AFL footballer, but through his university they've come to an agreement where he's still studying part-time PhD in paediatrics. Can you actually believe it? But an incredible story. He played country country footy due to his medical placements. He's a lifelong Dogs fan as well. It's perfect. So I cannot wait to see how he goes tonight.
This is the Triple M footy prime time for Mitsubishi Heavy Industries Air Conditioners Australia. That's a mouthful. Mitsubishi Heavy Air Industries Air Conditioners Australia. Put your trust in the experts in the air. Let's go back and cast our imaginations back to Thursday night, Jono. Richmond and Carlton. Carlton going to that one, hot favourites, and the Tigers too good after half time.
Yeah, the odds for Richmond to win the game, and you were there, Sarah, and watched it from home on the couch, and couldn't believe what I was seeing in that second quarter, but certainly in the third quarter, and then in the last quarter, just that mosquito fleet around the middle of the ground, but certainly in the forward line, their ability to pressure up, their ability to put pressure on the defence coming outside of their defensive 50, then turn the ball over in the middle, and then go. They've only got the one tall in Lynch down there, but gee, some of those mosquito fleets. Mansell was fantastic, and the whole somersault and handstand and back at the end was outstanding. That's what I want to see more of that in football. You see it in the NFL overseas, but why can't we get it more here at AFL?
Absolutely, I encourage it too. But you mentioned some of the the smaller players, but there's this young kid in Jacob Bauer he's quite tall, but he's extremely athletic, and you look at how he's going to be able to complement Tom Lynch, and I watched some of his contests. Just at times he's able to launch at the ball and stay in the air for a good 2 seconds. So just his reach and his ability to play as a quick player as well as a really tall player, and the way that he clunks these marks, he's going to be incredible.
And I think the win, like what we've seen against Collingwood in the community series with Richmond, they got smashed there. Everyone thought, they're going to be no good round one, but for them to turn that around, and it's quite hard to turn that around when you've had a pretty unsuccessful pre-season game in front of your fans and then come out for the opening round or for the round one on a Thursday night, one of the biggest games. It is hard, and to their credit, to Uze and Adam Uze and his coaching staff and the players, their credit to get up against an almost, $1 or something on favourite or whatever it was for Carlton.
It was incredible scenes at the MCG on Thursday night. I know it's round one. I know we can't get carried away, but how excited can we get about the Tigers, and how worried are we about Carlton after that game?
Well, I'm going to start with Tigers. Give it up. I think you can. Why not? I think, coming into that, there were no expectations, and the expectation was that Richmond was going to lose. So for me, I sit there absolutely stoked watching what that group was able to do, especially young players. Sam Lawler, number 1 draft pick. Luke Traynor is the other one. He played that running halfback kind of role. He was phenomenal. Now, some of these young kids coming through, for Richmond fans, I think it's exciting. You win one game. Now, I'm happy to jump on board and say they're going to win 10 games. But I think realistically, you've got to look at, that you've got to be impressed with that performance, regardless of who you're coming up against. And just to be able to do that off your back 3 quarters was outstanding.
And Carlton, on the other hand, there's a lot of people saying it's a coaching staff, but you've seen some really fundamental errors come from Carlton on that night on a big stage. Players that hadn't been on that big stage before, the MCG, in front of 85,000, I think it was. And look, I think there's some little bits and pieces that they need to tidy up, but I reckon it's more of a player's responsibility that they need to turn around. It's not so much coaching staff or coaching methods or anything like that. It's around players actually standing up. It looked like Richmond running on top of the ground and Carlton were running in quicksand almost. They were slower. They were second to the ball a lot. You've got to start being first to the ball, and you've got to get the fundamentals right. Some of those fundamental things of just marking the ball when you're going back with the fly was just not really good for Carlton.
About 6 minutes away from the bounce here, Jono. Let's go to Friday night, Hawthorn Essendon. I know you called that one. How did you see that game?
Yeah, that was outstanding. The Hawks were fantastic. Kako, his first goal was it was excellent. The MCG erupted there, but unfortunately, again for Essendon, they were able to put some good plays together going forward, run the ball through the middle, but they just couldn't get within anything more than 16 points. And they get to 16 points, and that's when they've got to know they've just got to lock down, and they weren't able to do that. And they went through and just didn't. There was some couple, again, fundamental errors by a couple of their backmen and a couple of their forwards as well. Those things need to be tightened right up. And the Hawks, they were outstanding. They played their hot football, and Ginnivan was in there, but Marbio Chol was in there. The Wizard was up and about.
3 goals for the Wizard.
Yeah, the crowd was around him, and it was a great game. And Hawthorn, a real team to take a real good look at this year. I think they're going to be in the finals again in the top 8.
And Jess, earlier today, the Cats, they hosted the Dockers at home. A lot made of the Dockers being top 4, contending this year, but the Cats got it done easily by 78 points.
They just continue to produce, don't they, the Cats? Every time we think that, they're too old, they're going to, taper off at some stage, they still come out and produce performances like that. They're just, you have to give them respect for how they continually show up.
Yeah, and the way they move, they just play that ground so well. They just know it so well. They get caught in the back pocket, and they know how to switch the ball, where teams don't know how to switch the ball there. They get nervous coming back into the corridor in that back half, and they were fantastic. Jez Cameron again, and there was a lot of outstanding footballers that really stood up today down there.
And lastly, the grand final rematch. Just before this game, we had the call team up there. Snapper Speedy was up there with Jude Bolton, and the Lions, they claw home. Your Lions, Jono, they get it done again by 4 points. And your Lions too, Jess.
Yeah, they certainly did. And they didn't have a great start in the first half. They had a couple of injuries that went down. Certainly that didn't help, and they called the sub on early, so McKenna came in very early. They got some stuff going in the third quarter, but to Sydney's efforts in the first term, they were all over us. They were all over Brisbane, and Brisbane just struggled big time to get their hands on the ball and couldn't play their free-flowing football. And then it came down to the wire. It nearly got turned over in the back pocket by Zorko, and the Swans weren't able to capitalise on that boundary throwing.
We're obviously big Lions fans, you and I.
Yeah, the big grin on your faces are giving it away, both of you.
But I feel like this is actually a key hallmark of the Lions' growth over the last couple of years, when they get a couple of injuries and now they're able to settle and get back into the game. So they coughed up the first 4 goals. But a couple of seasons ago, we would lose like a player. I kept saying we, sorry. They would lose a player and everything would just fall away.
Right, you're right.
I feel like it's a key difference to me the last 12
And those 2 injuries coming out of Kai Lohman and Starcevic, obviously another head concern there after he had his concussion. So hoping for their sake that it's nothing too serious, but
we'll see how we go. I
was like,
are you throwing to someone there? I'm just going to throw that out there and just leave it. We're only a few minutes away here for Ream Hot Water, built tough for Aussie conditions. When it comes to water heating, ask your plumber to install a Ream. Let's cast our attention to this game here between North Melbourne and the Bulldogs. The last time these two teams met, round 23 last year, was the Bulldogs by 96 points. Sam Darcy kicked 7. Treloar got 33 that day. He's not going to be out there tonight. Are we expecting something similar, or are you expecting an improved North Melbourne tonight, Hosco?
I think you have to walk away and look at what North Melbourne have done in their off-season, who they've added, adding Luke Parker, Jack Darling, Caleb Daniel. They've got, I think, some of these young players as well, in I just mentioned playing in Archer, Luke Davies, Uniacke. I think you look at some of these players who have now been in the game for a couple of years, that I think it's their time to stand up. So I am excited to see this North Melbourne outfit, and I think this is the moment where you do capitalise. So if Western Bulldogs have an underdone team, or they're losing some of their biggest stars, punish them for it.
That's right. And the thing with where I want to see North Melbourne is to improve is in their back line. They were able to leak quite a few goals last year towards the mid-season, back end of the season as well. So I want to see some more defensive acts back there by them. And then on the Dogs, on the other hand, look, they're undermanned at the moment, but certainly coming up against a freshly North Melbourne with 3 new players that have reasonably senior players. They've got probably around, probably 800 to 700 games underneath their belt. So they're not new players. They're certainly new players for the Kangaroos, but not for the football itself.
Time to head downstairs for Bob Jones T-Marts. Buy 3, get 1 free, plus instant cash back on Bridgestone, Yokohama, Kumo and Pirelli. Visit bobjane.com.au today. T's and C's apply. Mickey Roberts, the toss has been done.
Yeah, Libba's had a win. The Dogs have had a win already, so they're going right. Simpkin, obviously, for the captain of North Melbourne, but little Libba, he's replaced the Bont. We know with the Bont, with that calf muscle injury, could be out for 6 weeks or plus. So we don't know about him. So Libba's won the toss. Just the subs again. Arthur Jones from the Western Bulldogs and Darcy Tucker, unfortunately playing his 150th on the Pine. So he'll start on the bench for North.
And a lot of new players out there tonight. Robbo for both sides. Lukey Parker, Caleb Daniel. You did that a couple of times yourself?
Oh, I did. I had the suitcase punched out of me by the Saints when I went to Richmond. And then when I went to Fitzroy, geez, the Tigers, I got whacked in the mouth. Seriously, it looked as though I'd had 1,000 bees bit me on the mouth. Fair dinkum. I was up like you wouldn't believe. So those boys will sort out Daniel, that's for sure.
Good on you, Robbo. It's time to get this one underway for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M Rocks Footy. Don't forget you can stream every game of Triple M Footy live on the Listener app. Download it now, LASTNR. Here's Jess Webster on her debut with Triple M Footy.
The AFL returns to Marvel Stadium under the roof in a hot day in Melbourne. The umpire slams the ball into the turf. Sherry hands to it for North, trying to get a handball away. Plenty of numbers around the footy. We've got another stoppage adjacent to the centre circles. Good healthy crowd in here tonight. Lots of fans up in the third tier.
Absolutely.
New year, new hope for these two clubs. Sherry gets boot to ball, ricochets off Richards. North come up with it through O'Sullivan. The number 2 draft pick kicks that wide and finds Sheezel on the wing.
It's about 80 from home, Sheezel. He just pokes a short one to the captain, Simpkin. Grabs it on the turn. Then fakes a little bit of candy around Bramble. Left foot ball inside 50. Couldn't stick the Mark Davies Uniac. He just paddles it forward. Then gets bumped off the line. Dale. They scrap for it. Richards belts it out to the broadcast wing. Here's O'Sullivan again. Oh, he's a likely type. As he dances away, there's a whistle. You pay the advantage there, don't you, Jono?
Yeah, you certainly do. And you just let the game flow there. I don't know what the umpire's thinking there. You just got to let the game flow. He had at least another 20 metres. He probably could have ran and kicked that in deeper.
It's going to be a free kick to Logue. Centre wing, dockside in front of the 2 interchange gates. Sam Darcy stands the mark. Logue sends it to a big packet half forward for the Roos. The punch came from behind by O'Donnell. Ricochets the way of Parker in his club debut to McKerchett, and Daniel also playing against his old side to the teeth of goal. The fist came from O'Donnell, mopped up by Williams. Last line defence for the Dogs. Under a little bit of pressure, great kick, finds Little Torres at half-time.
The standing captain tonight, Libba. He handballs off. Bit of run and dash. Oh, caught there, Gallagher. Handball missed the target. Here we go on the turnover. Sheezel to Simpkin. Pins back the ears. Wobbles one. Off the shin. And now in transition for the Dogs, it's Dale. He twists and turns, and then he spits it out to Fraser. He's got an absolute panic as he takes a bounce. Exits D50, and then he pops it over into the path of Harms. Ball sits for him now. Corralled by Sherry. And then he spits it low and flat, and he's got Norton 55 from home.
Has options inside 50, and goes to one of the tallest ones in English, who marks 40 metres out from goal, slight angle to the right.
Yeah, well, it was a great start from North Melbourne. They had a few repeat entries, but this is where Western Bulldogs are so good. They were able to transition that ball from one end of the ground to the other, and that's polish inside 50. And for me, Jono, I reckon this battle between Tim English and Tristan Sherry is going to be a big one all day.
Yeah, for sure. 2 really senior ruckmen going at it. Real number 1, number 2 ruckman in the competition at the moment.
All Australian from a couple of seasons ago, signed a big 5-year deal last year. He's sticking around at the Dogs for a few more years to get their account away in 2025. English misses to the right.
Not sure about Caleb Daniel on the mark there, Hosco. He's the smallest man on the ground. He's standing the mark.
You've got to get the biggest man out there on the ground, stand the mark. It's quite frustrating for North Melbourne, certainly the coaches, that they've had probably 4 or 5 inside forward 50 there, Hosco, but no reward for effort there, because they looked like they had the Bulldogs under all sorts, but just weren't able to find a target inside their forward 50.
And you're spot on, Jono. Now we're without Eath or Two-Man tonight, so I'm on Fred Zed lending. I'm claiming it anyway. Inside 50 count is 4-1 so far.
Oh, here we go. I like this from you early. Here's Lukey Parker with his first touch with the Roos, and O'Sullivan started brightly here too, Jono. He's getting his hands on the ball early as Parker looks out to this broadcast side. Took his eyes off the ball, Harms, blocked the run from McKerchett. Gallagher got it back to Lobb. He's got the lemon rinse through the salad again. And it's turned over by Daniel as he gets boos and cheers at the same time. He's turned it over. That's unlike Daniel. Norton flicks it off. Richards from 49 opens the account for the Dogs. First goal, Eddie Richards. And the Dogs, 1 goal straight 6. North Melbourne yet to score. That's on the Triple M Titanium Caravan scoreboard. Stay off-road and off-grid for longer with a luxurious Titanium Caravan. Visit titaniumcaravans.com.au.
Well, you called it, Big Timmy. Caleb Daniels, unlike him, just comes in the corridor, goes to O'Sullivan, Finn O'Sullivan. Probably not the ideal kick for him when going back with the flight of the ball, and just overran it. It then got in the hands of Norton and then over to that man in Richards, and then he was able to go and kick the goal. But certainly Caleb Daniels, you wouldn't expect him to do that again, but Ed Richards just sized them up straight away, kicked it from about 50, and it went almost like 5 rows back, so he had the momentum going forward.
So a great start to Ed Richards. Yeah, he missed that Pracky game, but into the side today from the restart in the middle. English, handball out to Richards, under pressure, squeezes a kick to centre half forward to a one-on-one. Punch came from Logue, goes to ground. McNeil off to Richards again from 52 out to full forward. Darcy up. Got the hands out, strong hands, and takes the mark. 30 out, 45-degree angle to the right.
And I just love Sam Darcy. I cannot wait to see what he does this year. He's at just the 21 years of old age, but we see what he did, obviously, against North Melbourne last time. He kicked 7 goals.
38 goals last year. Setting up for the snap on the left, around the corner, straight through the middle. And the Dogs have a couple. 2-1-13 leading North Melbourne, yet to score. Nearly 6 minutes played in the opening term under the roof.
Now, he's taken a great mark, Jono. I do have a question, because we're seeing more and more with these young key forwards, Harry Mackay-like as well, who opt, instead of having that straight set shot, for he's only about 25-30 out, and he's gone for the kick around his body and taken the snap.
Yeah, I reckon it's more trustworthy. As long as, and an old coach of mine used to say, Lee Matthews, and we always listen to him because he was the boss, and very scared of him. But what he would say, if you don't practice it at training, don't do it in a game.
Yep.
And as long as they practice it at training and they spend time on it, you don't mind them doing it. And you see, obviously Stevie J invented it all and started doing it, but I see it now so often by the players. I think it's a good outcome. If you practice it and you're hitting them well at training, you take it into a game.
The McDonald's and Ream Hot Water Triple M Rocks footy. Through the fingertips of English. Out the back of the stoppage was Davies Uniac. High ball up to the 50. Here's the man on debut in Constanti. Couldn't reel it in. He's tackled to the turf. He now picks it up. Constanti bursts away. Flicks it wide. Simpkin. Low wobbly Wernburner. And it's through the fingertips of Duray and out of bounds. Left forward pocket here for the Roos. So here's a look at it, Moscow.
Yeah, an opportunity here. Again, there hasn't been too many stoppages yet in this game. It's been relatively free-flowing. But again, just coming into the forward 50 for North Melbourne.
Sherry and English in ruck. Flicks the ball back in a play. Curtis had a play at it, couldn't take it with him. Sherry hands to it, fed out the handball. Bruce picked up by Scott, gives it to McKercher. Now by hand to Caleb Daniel. Just outside forward 50, hands it off to Sheasel. Low darting kick. Shallow entry inside 50's marked by Phillips.
Yeah, I don't think it was meant. Sorry, Jess, I don't think it was meant for Phillips. It was actually going over for Scott, and Phillips just came. You know what? I like this kid. He had a little bit to do with him in his 16th year and his 18th year in junior football. I think he's a ready-made footballer.
He hands it off this time to Aidan Core. Let's fly from just outside forward 50. It's across the face of goal. Into the pocket. Curtis couldn't complete the mark. Keeps it alive along the boundary line. A wobbly kick inboard. Dogs have representation through Fraser, who gives it off to Bailey Williams. And passes backwards to Bailey Dale. Dangerous kick across the face of goal, but has found Norton inside defensive 50.
Little handball off to Davison on debut. Flowing blonde hair. He gets it off. Down this line is Sanders. Little kick to West. Back to Sanders. He's put on some size in the off-season. And now Riley West. Pokes a little kick wide, and that's a nice hit up. Finds Vandermeer. 52 from home. Looks into the pocket now. McNeil the target. The ball a bit too heavy. Pressure came from Jackson Archer. Out of bounds. 10 around here from the Dogs' goal.
Vandermeer
to the right of the goal this quarter.
Sorry, Timmy. Vandermeer just hung on to it for a little bit too long there. Needed to pull that trigger a little bit quicker.
Dogs with the first 2 goals of the game. Forward 50 stoppage. Sherry in front position, palms it down. Sanders, handball out and stolen by Phillips, who gives it to McKercher. Inside defensive 50, handball backwards to Sheasel. Had it fumble, tackled to the turf. Umpire calls for it. He'll have a stoppage. 40 metres out, 5 metres in from the boundary.
So umpire tosses up immediately. Sherry wins this palm down. Sanders had it knocked out. Davidson on debut. Had it knocked out in the tackle. Then a hurry kick. Powell belts it down to the broadcast wing. Lob there with Darling. And it beats both of them out of bounds in front of Mickey Roberts.
Round one, you always see some fresh haircuts, I think, as well. We've got Rory Lobbs gone with the bleached blonde hair. We've got Vandermeer with the bleached mohawk. So, some new looks for 2025.
It is. It's always interesting seeing what players decide to do in their off-season.
So ball tossed in, broadcast wing. Neutral territory. Sherry wins the tap again. Lurking out the back of the stoppage, Powell. Sheasel. Hanson Jr. bumped on the kick by Richards. Wobbly one, has to compete again, Darling. Does well, knocks it out of bounds, 80 around from the Roos goal.
And that's all Darling needs to do. In the air, he needs to compete, bring it to ground. If he plucks a couple, fantastic. But that's why he's been brought into this team. Yes, he's been brought in to kick goals, but he's brought in to come in and help Larky out up the ground and actually compete and bring the ground to ground level.
Dogs by 13, ball back into play. Sherry again in front position, palms it down.
Oh.
As far as Richards, tackled heavily by Sherry. Nice follow-up, ball spills loose. And eventually goes out of play as Hanson can't keep it alive. And we've got a throw in right in front of the two interchange benches here at Marble Stadium.
What are you smiling
He
at,
just
John?
sacked him. He just Sherry's eyes lit up, and Richards, and he just sacked him. It was great. Loved it.
As a ruck, that's what you love as well. So Tristan Cherry last year was their number one tackler as well, and I think up there in the competition too. So from a ruck for those second efforts, it's huge.
McDonald, high ball inside 50. Oh, parked out the back, Larky. A bit of muscly body work in front of O'Donnell, and he takes the mark 40 from home on a 45.
Poor O'Donnell shaking his head because Larky he was in the front position, but the ball just fell in his lap. It went over at the first contest in Rory Lobb, and he's just taken an absolute sitter, uncontested almost.
Put this one in the book for Larky, you'd feel. Last year, 46-14. Starts at left, swings it back. Just as you like it, Jesse. Larky gets the first goal for North Melbourne. They're one straight 6. The Bulldogs 2-1-13. Triple M Titanium Caravan scoreboard. Stay off road and off grid for longer with a luxurious Titanium Caravan. Visit titaniumcaravans.com.au.
And I reckon he's a chance to have a bigger year this year. Obviously with Darling, who I spoke about just before. Now, Darling, if Darling wasn't there, a lob would be on him for sure, without no doubt. But now Darling's there, Lob's got to go to Darling, and now O'Donnell then has to go over to Larky. And look, if they can just get him or get the ball into him fast and quick and long in an isolated situation, he's going to win at least 90% of his one-on-ones because he's a great user of his body and he knows where the drop zone is at all times.
Let's head downstairs to Mickey Roberts.
Yeah, Larky too didn't look hassled with that calf either. He just moved beautifully. There's no strapping on it, so that's a good sign for him.
Absolutely no signs of injury to Larky. Back underway in the middle. Phillips. And passes it out to LDU. Is he tackle without it? And the umpire says yes. Take the free kick. On the edge of the centre square. Just forward of halfway. Dogs with the first two. North have responded with the last. LDU flares it out wide to Powell. He's marked centre wing, city side.
Looks up, not a lot on offer. So he spins the ball in his hands and gets called to move it on by the umpire. High ball into the pocket. Numbers here with the Dogs, and big jukes here from Darcy in defence.
Yeah, they can't allow that North Melbourne forwards. They've got to compete. He was the only one that flew for that ball to give their forwards some type of chance, especially their small forwards. They've got to bring that ball down the ground level.
Don't forget, John, the new AFL Happy Meals here with 18 unique bag clips to collect, available 10:30am to midnight while stocks last for a limited time only.
I'll get a couple of them.
Yes, you will.
Here's Matt Kennedy on debut for the Dogs. Marks in the centre square. Kicks laterally to Davidson, also on debut. He takes off. Himself into a bit of trouble. Sold his teammate into trouble too in Bramble, but he gets the free kick.
He had a good year last year, Bramble. He was one of the players that came out from him and I think came across from Hawthorn. He was actually pretty good with his running carry.
Short to West, who loads up and sends it to a dangerous position. Norton comes streaming out of full forward. Knocked away from him, close to the line, over and out for a throw-in. 30 metres around from the Dogs' goal. They lead it by 7.
And that's a good matchup. Aiden Core with Norton at the moment. I reckon Aiden Core will probably get the upper hand early on, but later on I think Norton will just work him around and just get him blown up a little bit.
So ball tossed in, 30 out from the Dogs' goal. Tapped to the front by Darling. It tumbles outside 50. Hanson Jr. gets it back to Parker. From a standing start, he goes for real estate. Larky couldn't reel it in. Well done, Lob. Collected on the bounce. Gave it to Dale. Little step around, sidestep was good there by Cleary. And now Duray on his silky left, inside 50, undersized McNeil. And here's O'Sullivan on debut. Look at him. Clean hands off the back of the stoppage. Got it to McDonald, who spits a low flat ball and finds Costanti on debut.
Flares it out wide to Scott. Right half back for North Melbourne. O'Sullivan does look good. He had a bit of time out in his draft year with a thumb injury. He's making an immediate impact so far. Up to the wing, the fly from Curtis couldn't bring it down. It spills to Duray. Gives it to Fraser. Kicking board's a dangerous one. He's turned it over to Hanson. Here's a chance for North Melbourne if they move it quickly. Flares the kick laterally to McKercher. Is marked 55 out from goal. Chips it inside 50 and finds Zurhaar in space.
And that's a much better ball movement as well from North Melbourne, just the way that they were able to explode after they got that turnover. It was an unfortunate kick into the middle of the ground that got the turnover. But Zurhaar, again, just his ability to speed forward, make sure that he's running, he got the space, and now he's rewarded with a shot in front of goal.
29 goals last year for Cam Zurhaar. Also signed a new deal to stick around at North Melbourne. Here he is, 50 out, shot is on its way, and it's fading. Right for a minus score. Western Bulldogs 2-1-13, lead North Melbourne 1-1-7.
And we have a little look at the Red Z lending stats. The inside 50 count at the moment is 8-7 North Melbourne's way. So as we're seeing, they're just not able to capitalise. But the other stat I am looking at is the clearances, and North Melbourne are 8-1. So you can obviously see the difference without your Bonts and Trelaws. And they're obviously struggling to kind of get their first hands on that ball in the contest.
Well done,
Nice little solid start.
I'm trying. I'm making it
Red Z
smooth as possible.
The people at Red Z Lending will be very happy with this. Red Z Lending, loans to the self-employed, REDZED.com.
I was going to give that one a go, but
Leave that stuff to me.
save that for later.
Just keep reading off the screen. As Libba goes down the line, big one-on-one here. Well done, Lowe, climbed over the top. And then he's professionally just walked it over the line. A little bit of pressure from West. We'll have it tossed in. 70 around here from the Dogs' goal. They're kicking to the right of the dial this quarter. They lead by 6 points on the Triple M Titanium Caravan scoreboard. You got Chris Johnson in the house tonight with Sarah Hosking on the Triple M Seabus Super special comments. Seabus Super making hard work pay off.
Ball tossed back in. A big thump from English towards half forward. Sullivan collides.
Well done.
But it comes up the Dogs' way. West to Richards to full forward. Over the head of Vandermeer. Norton's there. Gives it back to Vandermeer. Threw his boot at it. Couldn't quite find the connection. McDonald dives on it. Vandermeer over the top. The umpire calls for it. All up in the square.
Jess, you mentioned West there. West was outstanding. Got tackled. Got the big bump. Got tackled. And then just stood up and just that handball off. And then kicked it inside the forward 50. That was great work by Rolly West.
Top of the attacking goal square here for the Dogs. Ball down. Might have been a high tackle from English. Umpire caught blindsided. We'll do it all again.
This is important for North Melbourne, not concede a goal here, because they've had a lot of the play down their half of the ground. They've got to make sure that they cannot concede a goal.
Darling in the ruck. English took it out of the air. Then he dropped the ball as he went to kick. He second-guessed himself. And it spilled out of bounds, 10 around from the behind post.
And Hosco, this is where I said at the start of the game, this is where I want to see North Melbourne improve in their defensive efforts, in their back 50. Don't concede so many points when you did last year.
Dogs by 6 points. English against Darling in ruck. Ball spills to ground. They dive on top of it. Sheezer trying to feed it out. Turns tackler, goes in again. Spills out wide to Power. Gives it to Simpkin. Simpkin, lovely sidestep on Davidson. Then hands it off to Hanson. Running off half-back for North Melbourne. Spears the kick down the line. Pinpoint. Finds Parker on centre wing. Gives it off to Zurhaar. North are full of running. Open forward 50. The kick over the head of Larkey. If you can run onto it, get on the right and kicks a point.
It could have ran all the way in.
Oh, no, Jono.
It was just like Zurhaar could have placed the ball a little bit more towards the goal line, because he popped it towards the left-hand side of Larkey, which meant that he's had to kick the ball across his body. As Jono mentioned, he still had another 10 metres to run if he wanted to.
The Bulldogs by 5 points as they build their way down the wing. Davidson, he's racking him up on debut. He tunnels the handball along the deck. He finds Harms, who sends it inside 50. Ball off some hands. There's been a whistle. It's going to be a free kick the way of the Dogs to Vandermeer.
And that's got to kill you, North Melbourne, where you've got an almost certain goal down one end, and then you give the ball back, and then without no doubt the Dogs, with their great game plan, their use of the ball by foot and by hand, they take it from one end to the other, and now they're having a shot on goal.
So Vandermeer, the live wire up forward. He sends the kick on its way. He's hit it pretty well. He loves it. He points to the fans and says, that's how you do it from the pocket. Vandermeer gets his first. The third here for the Doggies. They're 3-1-19. North Melbourne 1-2-8. Triple M Titanium Caravan scoreboard.
Oh, just very cool, calm, collected there, Vandermeer. Outstanding. He was out by a long way in front of Luke McDonald, and Luke McDonald made him earn it like a true defender did. But to sort of settle yourself, he had about a 45 metre lead. He came from the other side of the ground, led out to that pocket, and to actually settle yourself after you'd been whacked, actually then thread the needle from the boundary line, almost in row 1A he was in. That was outstanding.
And it's just looking like some of the Bulldogs' transition as well is what's starting to kill them. It's that entry inside 50. They're putting it to a good placement spot. And I think that North Melbourne's starting to struggle, or looking like they're struggling a little bit, need to apply a little bit more pressure.
The McDonald's and Ream Hot Water Triple M Rocks footy. Back in the middle we go. They all dive on top of it, and we'll have a secondary ball up.
And we're Red Z lending again now.
Well,
Here we go.
Yes.
So I'm just going to give you some of the major ball winners here. We've got Ed Richards leading the way with 7 disposals. Bailey Dale 5.
North win the clearance. They send it to full forward. Lob back with a flight. Ball can be kept alive by Zerha in the pocket. Gives it off to Curtis. He can do just about anything from this position. To the teeth of goal. The Dogs have numbers. O'Donnell, last line of defence, gets the kick away. Looking for Vandermeer. Goes over his head. And he got a shove out, so he'll get a free kick at right half back for the Dogs.
Dolan's decked afterwards as well.
Again, their forward entries, North Melbourne, they're just a little bit off at the moment. You spoke about the kick to Larkey before, and that kick there to Zerha was just a little bit off. He was certainly free and certainly on, just a little bit too long for him.
Vandermeer from half back. They feed the handball through a chain. And Sanders goes high and long. Big 2-on-2. The fly came west. Darcy stays down. Comben diving through the legs of West. Norton arrives on the scene. It's a scrappy ball at ground level, but Comben fans the handball wide. Sheasel, touch of class on the left, but he's turned it over. Back to Sanders. Handball's inside. Through the hands. Liver goes back and hunts it, but there's been a free. It'll go to Gallagher. 45 from home on a 45.
Yeah, Jai Simpkin just went to lay a big tackle.
He dishes off to Dale, who's certainly got the leg from here. It's long, it's deep, and it's home. Bailey Dale kicks the goal. At the 20-minute mark of this first term, the Dogs, they extend their lead. They're 4-1-25, North Melbourne 1-2-8, Triple M Titanium Caravan scoreboard.
Well, Oscar, you spoke about the transition of the Bulldogs at the moment. They're able to, if the Kangaroos are going to turn the ball over in their defensive 50 and give an easy free kick like that, you can't allow free players. And you called it earlier, the transition of the Dogs at the moment, you can't give them time and space, because if you do, they're going to punish you. Absolutely.
And again, it's that kick inside, but that goal resulted as Jai Simpkin trying to lay that tackle, but just didn't have, it was Libber that didn't have the ball. Again, he's just given that little hands off to Bailey Dale, who's come from a mile away without an opponent on him.
From the restart, Sherry takes it out of the ruck, gets the handball out. Sheasel on the left, up towards half forward to Zerha in a one-on-one. Gallagher right there with him and brought it to ground. Zerha tracks after it. Almost takes it cleanly and then runs into Ed Richards, who collects the footy, takes off, hand passes to Harms on centre wing, no one around him. So he takes off, has a bounce, loops the handball over the top to Vandermeer, who can cross 50, Daniel in pursuit, Vandermeer to full forward, Norton. Couldn't complete the mark, ball stays alive, deep in the forward pocket for the Dogs. They all dive on top of it, and we'll have a ball up just inside the field of play, a few metres around from goal.
They're just better using the ball with hand. Ball in hand at the moment. The Dogs are better by hand and by foot.
And I tell you what, Ed Richards has been involved everywhere.
There's a quick flying shot out of this stoppage is Skinny to the near side, missing one behind. It's 4-2-26 now. North Melbourne 1-2-8. It's an 18-point buffer here to the Dogs. Choice Hotels around the grounds earlier today. It was Geelong by 78 points at the Cattery. And then we had the grand final rematch between the Lions and the Swans, and Jesse, your Lions got up by 4 points.
Yeah, very happy about that, I think. A couple of injury concerns, though. Caleb Daniel from the kick-in runs his full measure and then kicks out wide. Larkey in the contest. Knocked away from him. Davidson on debut. Backwards to O'Donnell. Chips it forward, but has turned it over to Simpkin, who's marked it right half back for North Melbourne.
It's the voice of Jess Webster making her debut with Triple M footy. She'll be with us all 2025. In the back row, you've got Sarah Hosking, Chris Johnson, two absolute superstars. And Mickey Roberts down on the boundary tonight for Bob Jane Seamarts. As we're on the outer wing, there's Dogs leaking out everywhere. It's Richards. He handballs it up. Little pokey one due away on the left, finds West, 51 from home. About a metre in for the boundary. Now he darts one top of the square. Norton! No mark paid. There's been a free regardless. He has paid the mark in the end, Hosco. So top of the goal square, Norton will go back to kick his first.
So that's different from before, Hosco, where I seen your hands go up, where he went for the chest mark earlier. This time he had to put his hands up, and that's all he needs to do, because he's going to outreach Core without a doubt, and he's going to be able to work Core around, because Core's not going to be able to go with him.
35 goals, 14 last year for Norton. His best return in 22 was 51-34. We should put this in the book, but let's not moz him. As he steals his way in here, Norton, and he steers it home. Good start to this game here for the Doggies. As Norton strikes his first, the Dogs 5-2-32, the Roos 1-2-8, Triple M Titanium Caravan scoreboard.
And again, you just have a look. I've mentioned Ed Richards has been involved in a few chains, but getting the ball to Riley West, who is right on the boundary line, about 51 metres out, and he has just kicked an absolute bullet kick to the top of the square where Aaron Norton held his position in front of Core. And as Jono mentioned, he's just taken his both hands, popped it up, and then drawn the free kick on the way down. And it was a great, absolutely outstanding kick and entry inside 50.
Dogs are the last 3 goals of the game as we tick down towards quarter time here at Marvel Stadium. A hot day here in Melbourne. The umpire slams the ball into the turf. Darcy and Ruck for the Dogs. Straight down to Davies Uniacke of North Melbourne. To Hanson to Powell by hand. Scrubs the kick forward only as far as Richards of the Dogs, who can collect and take off down the wing. Spears the kick through the hands of McNeil, who then caught one high, and he'll take the free kick at left half forward for the Dogs as they press forward once again.
And that's the thing, North Melbourne are winning the clearances by miles, 4-12 for Red Zeds, and they're just not using it going forward.
McNeil spearing ball in the pocket, finds the debutant Dolan, and he'll go back to kick his first goal in the big time.
And the Dogs are really showing North Melbourne what you need to do. If you're going to win the clearances, you've got to treat the ball like gold. Don't turn it over. And if you are going to turn it over, you need to be quicker in transition than what we are, because we're going to move that ball straight back through the corridor and into our forward 50 very, very quickly.
So Joshy Dolan picked 31 in last year's draft. A live wire up forward. He breaks the 50. The drop punt on its way. It's going to go right to the line and it's through for a minor score. So he'll have to wait for his first goal. The Bulldogs 5-3-33. The Roos 1-2-8. Triple M Titanium Caravan scoreboard.
Daniel with the kick-in duties again for North. Kick short to Powell. A couple of options out wide. I'm sure initially. Goes for Zerha, but he's kicked it out of bounds on the full.
He's out of bounds on the full. This is where they've got to be a bit smarter, the Kangaroos. They've got to not try and force something. They've got to be patient with the ball.
Dale short to Kennedy, who's marked 50 metres out. 10 in from the boundary for the Western Bulldogs. Pretty crowded forward 50. On club debut. Kicks it to a dangerous position to a pack. It's off hands. Tracking after it is Liberatore. Couldn't take it cleanly on his hands and knees. Daniel picks it up for North Melbourne, gives it to McDonald, just hacks it out of the danger zone to a contest. Dale back with a fly, couldn't bring it down. Zerha runs out of room and will have a ball in between wing and half forward. Western Bulldogs into attack. They lead North Melbourne by 25.
And we're just going to do a little choice hotels around the ground.
Why not, Moscow? Why not?
I'm taking over here. We've got a Collingwood game. Collingwood Port Adelaide nearing the end of the first quarter, 32-14. Pat Lipinski has also just recently kicked a goal.
Going for the double invoice tonight, Hosco.
Oh yeah, no, make it triple, don't you worry.
Gallagher slaps out in front of Sanders. Fraser there applying pressure, and then O'Sullivan on debut for the Roos. He sends a wobbly one about 20 metres down the line, and it's off a couple of sets of hands. Dan Houston in his first game tonight in Pies colours. Interesting to get those Triple M Reds Head lending stats off you at half time for that one as well, Hosco.
Yeah,
so
I'm
keep your eye on that.
Working my magic, don't you worry.
As the ball spins back into play, Fraser in the ruck against Sherry. He's undersized. Gallagher. He's let forward in the tackle by Zerha. Thought it was a free kick for moments, but umpire says, no, I'll have it. So toss up, broadcast wing. Just 2 minutes left in this first term. Bulldogs 33, the Roos 8.
Fraser in the ruck against Sherry. Won the tap decisively, but it trickles its way to the boundary line. We'll have a throw in.
And again, Reds Head lending, we've got Tom Powell and Ed Richards both leading the way with disposals with the 11.
And Ed Richards leading the metres gained as well with 253 in the early stages here.
Jono, that's my job.
Oh,
Fraser again in ruck against Sherry.
Keeping your territory, John.
you can have that laptop.
Sanders at half forward for the Dogs. A blind kick around the corner. Daniel dropped the mark inside defensive 50. Picked up by Vandermeer. He goes to ground. Just got the handball out in the nick of time. Liberatore under pressure. Ball tracking towards the boundary line. Over and out. And we'll have a throw in 35 around from the Dogs' goal.
Don't forget now, Harvey Norman up to 20% off Acer and Lenovo computers in store and online now. There's none there for you, John. All Hoscos.
All Hoscos.
Harvey Norman, best range, best brands, best prices guaranteed. As the ball's tossed back in, dying stages of the first term. Slapped to the front by Sherry. Swooping on it here was McKercher. He drives a long drop punt down the line. Darling was outnumbered. He did well, knocked it out of bounds in front of the interchange gates.
And that's what they've got to do a couple of times, North Melbourne. Coming out of defence, they're looking for the perfect exit out of their defence. Sometimes they've just got to kick it down to whoever the tall is, give a contested aerial contest, bring it to ground or take it out of bounds, and then you reset again.
Throwing on the dockside wing. Sherry wins the tap down to Simpkins. Set upon immediately by a couple of Dogs. And we'll have a ball up. Sherry again against Fraser in ruck, the young kid. Williams tried to tap it on only as far as McKercher for North Melbourne. He sends it inside forward. 50 rising high and taking a lovely mark. Here's O'Donnell in defence of the Dogs.
They've made the change there. Lob's gone across.
Oh, no, he's turned it over. Zerha. He read it off the boot. And he fanned his way in front of Rory Lobb, took the mark. He thought about playing on for moments, but he's going to go back and have a set shot from about 35, 6 metres in from the boundary.
And as I was saying, they've made the change. So Lob's actually gone to Darling now, and O'Donnell has gone to Larkey.
He opens up the mouth of the goal. He snaps, and it curls way too much. Skinny to the left-hand side. Bulldogs 5-3-33. North Melbourne 1-3-9. 41 seconds left in this term.
The Dogs from the kick in. Work it to half back. Cleary down the line has turned it over to his former teammate. Caleb Daniel gives it off to Sherry. Now through the hands of Power. Back to Daniel. They're forward of halfway. Gives it off to Simpkin. Now to McKercher, who approaches half forward. Bombs it towards goal. And through the hands of Larkey. A free kick. It goes through for a behind. Which makes it a 23-point lead to the Dogs. 5-3-33 to North Melbourne 1-4-10.
Again there, Hoscar, they're just looking for the perfect exit to actually break. I reckon they needed to go a bit earlier than inside forward 50 because everyone was actually leading backwards. But when they got the ball, everyone was leading at them, and then obviously they seen there was going to be an overlap handball, so they all started leading backwards. They've got to go forward a little bit earlier, North Melbourne.
Kennedy fans the kick wide. Finds Williams right on the quarter time siren here at Marvel Stadium. Entertaining first term. The Bulldogs 5-3-33. North Melbourne 1-4-10. We've got Chris Johnson in the house with Sarah Hosking. Jess Webster on debut. Tim Solly calling the action. You got Vicky Roberts down on the boundary for Bob Jane T-Marts. It is the Dogs by 23 points here in the first break for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M rocks footy.
That quarter, the Titanium Caravans. Stay off-road and off-grid for longer with a luxurious Titanium Caravan. Visit titaniumcaravans.com.au.
For McDonald's,
Triple M rocks footy.
the new AFL Happy Meal is here with 18 unique bag clips to collect. Available 10:30am to midnight while stocks last for a limited time only.
An icon of Australian music.
Hi, this is Pete Murray.
3 number-1 albums, good times, and a swag of greatest hits. And he's is hitting the road for Triple M.
I'm hitting the road this year for my greatest hits tour, playing my favourite songs, unplugged.
Triple M presents Pete Murray's solo acoustic tour. Tickets are on sale March 21. For the where, when and full tour info, head to PeteMurray.com, the home of good times and Pete Murray's greatest hits. Triple M.
No boring stories.
How about that?
No blind shouting. No brainless spam.
Absolutely extraordinary.
Just the best sports coverage from Australia's biggest newsroom. Code Sports. No BS, just sport. Grab the app today.
Looking to save on your home loan? With IMB Bank, depending on the size of your loan, you could get $2,000, $3,000 or $4,000 cash back when you switch your existing home loan or take out a new one with IMB. Apply today, online, in branch, or a mobile lender can come to you. Search IMB Bank Cash Back. IMB Bank. Right by you. Eligibility and lending criteria, T's and C's apply. Minimum lending $250k and maximum 80% LVR. Offer can be withdrawn at any time. See imb.com.au/cashback for details.
You can't say no. You can't say no.
Jump on the bandwagon and taste the new CC's 4 and 20 flavours. You can't say no.
Machinery shop.
The Hare and Forth Machinery House Mega March sale starts Monday, March 10. This is your chance to save up to 30% on more than 4,000 products. Save on the latest woodworking, metalworking, workshop equipment, lathes, mills, drills, bandsaws and more. Get into your jam-packed local store or shop online at machineryhouse.com.au. Sale starts March 10.
Hare and Forth Machinery House. Your one-stop machinery shop.
Corner of Windsor and Boundary Roads, Northmead.
June Rats, making pubs rock again. Giving up smoking can be a real challenge. Those nicotine cravings can hit at any time, and sometimes they're pretty hard to resist. The thing is, your willpower is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. But sometimes you need a little extra help to keep them at bay. Nicorette Quick Mist relieves nicotine cravings fast. And Nicorette Quick Mist Smart Track comes with a tracking app, so you can track your progress. Help give more power to your willpower with Nicorette. Always read the label and follow the directions for use. Stop smoking aid.
With NIB Health Insurance, you could get a discount on groceries. You could upgrade your cooking.
Order up.
Yes, chef. NIB. Potentially amazing. Get started at nib.com.au today.
These are Sydney's best buys.
Does biting into an ice cream make your teeth feel sensitive? Sensodyne Repair and Protect toothpaste provides lasting sensitivity relief with twice daily brushing. Always follow the directions for use.
Best buys.
Hikoki Power Tools, your trusted partner in cordless innovation, helping you nail it every time with the new second generation cordless nailer. Visit hikokipowertools.com.au.
Best buys. Bye-bye.
Shut up! The footy's on Triple M!
Triple M rocks footy. This quarter for Bunnings Trade. Load up on landscaping at Bunnings Trade.
Quarter time here at Marvel Stadium. The Dogs 5-3-33, leading the Roos 1-4-10. Goals to Richards, Darcy, Vandermeer, Dale and Norton. And the lonely goal kicker for the Roos is Nick Larkey. Well, let's head downstairs and catch up with the OG of Triple M footy, Mickey Roberts, for Bob Jane Teamarts.
Yeah, I know the score's a little bit out of whack, but I tell you what, North have had their opportunities as you did in the call. And Jess, well done with your first quarter, sensational. The inside 50s is what's interesting me, 16 to 12. So North with 12 inside 50s, that's a real indication they're getting the ball, but they just need some function instead of going to Larkey all the time. I tell you what, the other thing is Caleb Daniel. He had a couple of little hiccups, and he kicked across goal, and they scored there, but not one push or shove from the opposition. Back in our day, he would have copped it, I tell you. So he's got to lift his game a little bit, the little fella.
He's saying bring back the biff.
Bring back the biff, or you get to know Robbo. He likes the biff. Bob Jane Teamarts, buy 3, get 1 free, plus instant cash back on Bridgestone, Yokohama, Kumo and Pirelli. Visit bobjane.com.au today. T's and C's apply. Chris Johnson, Sarah Hosking in the back row today for Seabus Super. What do you think the messages were from Clarko and Bevo at that quarter time break?
Well, look, I think the Bulldogs, I think they've just got to keep doing what they're doing. Their ability to to use the ball by foot and by hand and actually hit up teammates and to break the lines has been outstanding. What they've been able to do, they've been able to turn the ball over in their defensive half, and then they've been able to go. Unfortunately for North Melbourne, what they can't do, they can't find a target inside their forward 50, and if they do find a target, it's from a fair way out or it's on a really tight angle. And what they are doing as well is when they do get the ball inside their forward 50, the Kangaroos, they're having shots under pressure at the moment. So that's the challenge, where the Dogs a couple of times have been able to mark 3 or 4 inside their forward 50, within probably forward 30 maybe, and have a shot on goal. And what we do have now, we have longer breaks for the heat as well. So it's gone from 6 minutes to 8 minutes now, the breaks.
Spot on, John. And just to back you up, Red Z lending there.
Oi.
yes, we're back on it. Western Bulldogs, yes, they're uncontested possessions plus 11, marks plus 9, inside 50s plus 4, but it's those turnovers that they've scored 3 goals from. So yes, North Melbourne are winning the clearances, but they haven't been able to actually score and convert from it. So Bulldogs at the moment, their ability to be able to transition the ball from defence into the forward half is just phenomenal. But then you look at the major ball winners, you look out without Bont and without Chalor, Ed Richards has stood up. He's leading the way with 12 disposals. He's got a goal to himself, 4 contested possessions, 8 uncontested, 3 inside 50. So Bailey Dale also up there with high disposals as well.
And the other thing where North Melbourne's winning are the clearances. They're winning at 14-5, so they're actually dominating that space, but it's that kick inside their forward 50 that they're struggling with.
Good start, Jono. Sarah Hosking in the back row for Triple M Seabass Super special comments and Triple M Red Z lending stats.
No, around the ground.
And Joyce Hotel around the ground. That's my resume, please.
While we're out at Moscow, we may as well let's visit that one. There's another big game happening tonight at the G between Collingwood and Port Adelaide. What's happening there?
Yes, there is Collingwood and Port Adelaide. They are into the second quarter. Collingwood is up 41-20 at the moment.
Here's Jess Webster to take the second term underway for McDonald's and Room Hot Water. Triple M rocks footy at Marvel Stadium.
The Dogs by 23 at quarter time. English and Sherry renew acquaintances in the middle. Down to Phillips, who gives it off to LDU. Backtracks by hand to Powell. Skies it to half forward for North Melbourne. It's going to bounce in front of Curtis. And the bounce actually favoured Scott, who handballs back to Curtis on the paint of 50. Wheels around and kicks inboard. Dangerous kick, but good enough to find Powell his mark 45 out from home.
Well, he didn't have a right foot, Curtis, so he had to come back in on his left because he was running towards goal. But great work. I spoke about this in the break, that all their shots have been from wide out. This is the first shot they've had directly in front, so they've got to go back and make the most of this in power. He's actually doing all right. He's actually leading the possessions on North Melbourne's side. He's had 13 possessions already.
He played every game last year, Tom Powell for North, 5th in their best and fairest, and signed a new 2-year deal. He's coming to 2025 with confidence. Here he is, 50 metres out directly in front. 6 his boot into it, but it's away to the left for a minor score. The Dogs 5-4-34, North Melbourne 1-4-10.
Sorry, just frustrating not to convert there
We're
for North Melbourne.
Hosco,
No, we really got to get used to this.
I've jumped in on Tim a couple of times as well.
No, but it was a much better entry from North Melbourne, and as we spoke about, being able to hit a target inside 50, not just get the play on.
As Norton tries to escape the tackle here, umpire says no cry. It's held up here. About 70 out from the Roos goal. A couple of eager beavers in the back row for Triple M Seabass Super tonight. Chris Johnson, Sarah Hosking. Just tapped down. Kennedy, the ex-Blue, had it knocked out of his mitts. Then swooping on it was Scott. Dropped it out. Phillips through his hands. Powell on his bottom. Can't get the ball, and bodies piled in everywhere. We'll have a toss-up. 60 out from the Roos goal. They're kicking to the right of the dial this quarter. And they trail by 22 points.
Ball goes up in the air. Sherry takes it out of ruck. Tackled by English. Ball spills loose. Kennedy will collect the handball and then get it out to Harms. From left half back for the Dogs. Takes a bounce. Chips down the line. A little bit ill-directed. Common out to meet it. Couldn't take it with him. Free kick whistle on play. Advantage page to the Dogs. Richards kicks him inside forward. 50 into the path of the first game at Davidson. He's marked 25 metres out. Slight angle to the right.
That was outstanding again, Jono. We've spoken about that transition from the Dogs. It wasn't a great kick towards Sam Darcy, and he wasn't happy about it. But what Riley West did was able to get that ground ball. Sam got it off to Ed Richards, and as I mentioned, he has been dominant display all day so far, and it was a great kick inside 50 to advantage.
The mature age recruit out of Richmond's VFL side, a lifelong Dogs fan. This is the moment to save it for Sam Davidson. They come from everywhere to celebrate the debutant kicking his first goal in the big time. And he extends Western Bulldogs' margin in the process to 28 points. They lead 6-9-39 at North Melbourne, 1-5-11.
Yeah, they're the ones you don't forget. Your first goal, outstanding again by the Dogs. They transitioned from half-back. There was a stoppage on half-back, and they just moved the ball forward and really got out the back. Ed Richards again involved in that delivery inside forward 50. He's kicked one himself and set up a couple now, but he'll remember that for the rest of his career. Young Sam Davison, outstanding.
And what a lovely story he's had too. I know we mentioned it a little bit earlier, but he's obviously put a 5-year medical degree on hold that he's already done 5 years of. Continue to study his PhD at the same time as playing football.
The McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M rocks footy. Libba has his snout over it, got it out to Kennedy, who's bullocking his way but can't escape the Phillips tackle. We'll do it all again in the centre circle. Umpire immediately tosses it up. English spikes it forward about 25. Cut off McDonald. Daniel against his old side. The handball is errant. Sanders with pressure there on Scott. He can't get out of the tackle from Harms. Ball knocked loose. Kennedy up to Libba. Partly touched off the boot. It's through Vandermeer's mitts. McKercher knocked it out. And then steady head Core. His handball to Sheasel. Cut off. Core goes back. Finds it. His kick ricochets back to McDonald. And no prior opportunity, says the umpire. We'll have a toss-up. 35 out from the Dogs' goal.
We talk about the Dogs, about their transition, but their pressure around the football at the moment, not letting North Melbourne out of any exits. They were out 3 or 4 times there, but the Dogs just kept them in.
McKercher from the contest hands it off to Davies Uniac, sweeping hand pass to Curtis. He's got it at half back for the Roos, trying to get around Norton. Backtracks by hand to Core, who sends the kick out wide. Scott will try and keep this alive along the boundary line. He's tackled over the line by Gallagher. And we're going to have a throw in front of the interchange gates. Dogs by 28.
Choice hotels around the grounds, Hosco. What's happening at the MCG?
MCG, we've got Collingwood and Port Adelaide. Collingwood up 41-26. For Pies fans, Tim Membry has already kicked 3 goals, and Dan Houston also leading the charge in disposals for Collingwood.
Who did we tip in that game, by the way, around the room?
Collingwood for me.
Magpies.
Who did you tip? Not who.
Wasn't a trick question, John.
Yeah, no.
I was actually thinking about something else at the time.
Archer to McDonald, centre circle, weaving his way through Zerha, laces one out to Sheasel. Truson forward, he handballs back to Zerha, who wheels onto the right slipper, sends it inside 50, through a couple of sets of hands, out the back, McNeil taken in the back. He tries to rugby scrum the ball across the line, but I believe it's kept in the field of play. So we're going to have a toss-up right on the line here.
He's going.
Deep in attack for the Roos. English against Sherry. Sherry tries to get the boot into it. It falls off a hand and through for a minor score. So North Melbourne 1-6-12, sorry. The Dogs 6-3-39. Triple M Bunnings Trade scoreboard. Load up on landscaping at Bunnings Trade.
So the Dogs, through Bramble from the kick-in, hands it off to Sanders. Roaming defence at 50 is run down and caught dispossessed by Curtis, but he got legged. He gives away the free kick. Sanders this time elects to kick backwards to Bramble in the last line of defence.
Well, the effort was there, wasn't it?
It was. He actually got the tackle, and the strength of Sanders just kept going, and actually then it dragged down on him. So a bit unlucky there by Curtis.
The Rock Lobster lob. Bramble, handballs over the top. Dale, penetrating kick to half forward. Big 1-on-1, and great mark there by Riley West, who's undersized, reeled in with the one hand, no one on the mark. So he wheels and goes in the Norton direction, but it's too heavy. Out the back, Simpkin takes a relieving mark at the top of the defensive goal square.
Chip short to Sheasel, not the required distance. Measures the kick into the centre of the ground of Phillips, who marks, gives it to Caleb Daniel by hand to Archer. And then backwards by hand to Simpkin.
Too many handballs in North Melbourne. Curtis was out at least on that first chain when it started on the half-back flank.
Flares the kick out wide to Zerha. Chips it to Parker, gives it back to Simpkin from just outside forward 50, and the kick is intercepted by Rory Logg.
It's that extra handball, isn't it, Hosco, that the Kangaroos are trying to do. And I know what they're trying. They're just trying to overlap it, but at the moment they're not overlap. The ball's staying where it is. It's not going forward at all. So they've actually got to raise their eyes a little bit and actually call, rather than call for the ball, tell your teammate to look up because there's someone free.
And by the time they're then going inside 50, Western Bulldogs have already flooded the extra numbers back, which is where they're getting the intercept marks and intercept possessions.
Sarah Hosking with Chris Johnson in the back row today for Seabus Super, making hard work pay off since 1984. As the Roos look to build on the outer wing, Davies Uniac. A high ball inside 50, 3-on-3, Larky flies, got the fist in, Curtis lurking, so too Sheasel, but Larky bobs up. And with no one on the goal line, he dribbles it home for his second. An all-important goal there for North Melbourne to keep them in the contest. They're 2-6-18. The Dogs, I would know if the score was up on the scoreboard, but it just disappeared for a moment. Marching back to 21 points.
2-6-18. There you go, Big Tim.
No favours there. As I went to read it, it disappeared.
That was good. It was really good by Larky. He was in the contest. It came at the back, and he was able to get across. They could have raffled it off with about 3 or 4 of them. Darling was there at the same time, but that's what they've got to keep doing. They've got to keep attacking the goal front, not go short so much to a one-on-one contest. You'd rather go to a one-on-one contest at the top of the square where it forces the Bulldogs to defence. Don't go short to a one-on-one. It's easily defend, spoil, knock it away. Get it deep, get it long, and actually force them to defend. And look what happens. Larky goes through and kicks his second for the night.
The McDonald's and Ream hot water. Triple M rocks footy back in the middle. The Roos win the clearance. Here's Davies Uniac. Handballs over the top to Phillips. Gets it on the boot inside forward 50. They go to a pack. Lob with a fist. Brings it to ground. Lurking is Simpkin. Gives it to Sheasel. By hand to Darling. Simpkin. Now they get a shot on goal. He dribbles it through. North have a couple in a row. They draw back to within 15 points. And I've lost the scoreboard too. Here it is, 6-3-39 and North Melbourne 3-6-24.
You're not doing us any favours here, kids.
Now that was much better there from North Melbourne. So again, coming out of that centre clearance as well, Luke Davies Uniacke is now starting to have a good influence in this game. But again, Jono, we spoke about that entry inside 50. This was a quick entry where you've got one-on-ones around all contests. So you've got your tools that have gone up. Some of these smalls in Jai Simpkin have just been able to take on the game, work the ball around, and then as soon as he goes that follow-up effort, he had a nice little snap across his body. But again, get the ball in there when there is one-on-ones and then get your smalls to get to the groundwork.
Back-to-back goals for the Kangaroos, which is really good. The first time of the night, they kicked 1 in the first and they've kicked 2 in this second quarter. They need to repeat this to actually keep putting some scoreboard pressure on the Bulldogs.
Marching back to 15 points to the favour of the Dogs for McDonald's and Ream hot water. Triple M rocks footy. Both ruckmen fall over in the contest. Bramble got it out. Harms off to Kennedy. McNeil handballs to Williams. Sells Candy. Oh, should have kicked it goal. Went to handball. Missed the target. Harms fit it wide for West. There's been a whistle.
Yeah, it's going to be in the back to Rolly West. Unfortunately, Parker just got his legs taken out and actually then rode in the back of Rolly West. So he'll have a shot from literally 35 metres out.
Check it out here on the Triple M Harvey Norman replay. Go Harvey Norman, up to 20% off Acer and Lenovo computers in store and online now. Harvey Norman, best range, best brands, best prices guaranteed. Was certainly there as Comben fell into his back. So West with ball in hand.
Comben, was it?
Yep.
Left forward pocket, 30 from home. Crowd will tell the story. It's hung it out to the right-hand side, minus score. So 6-4-40 the Dogs, North Melbourne 3-6-24. Triple M Bunnings Trade scoreboard. Load up on landscaping at Bunnings Trade.
They've got to make something of this now, the Kangaroos. They've got to come corridor and force the Bulldogs to defend.
Call from the kick in, measures the kick to half-back, looking for Simpkin, who had to turn spoiler in the end against Stray, knocks it out of play. We've got a ball in at left half forward. Dogs into attack. North Melbourne with the last 2 goals of the game. The Western Bulldogs led by 23 at quarter time. Ball spun back into play. Darcy against Sherry and Ruck. Goes down to Richards, who's tackled by a couple of Roos, and we've got a ball up.
Thanks, Ed. Boys, Jess Webster, Triple M footy this year in 2025. Lightning start from her tonight. Chris Johnson in the back row with Sarah Hosking as the ball comes down.
Fire down.
Central umpire takes a dive, lost go. They love that one in the stands.
Sorry, I shouldn't be laughing.
You weren't the only one laughing, Hosco.
Jono's got the giggles.
You guys are mean.
It's a rusty start for everyone. It's round one. The umpires are taking a tumble, so it's back in. Simpkin at the front square. He's just carried across the line by Richards.
So sorry to interrupt you there, Timmy.
Norman replay is brilliant. He's almost gone over the ball, but he's kept on his own feet.
But the Dogs are sitting back a spare now in Duray, so he's sitting about 20 metres off this contest. They've got to come and round him up.
Well, from the ball in, ricochets towards Hansen for the Roos. Gives it off to Powell, keeps it alive, hand pass to Simpkin. Now to Parker. Hugged up against the boundary line, he's turned it over to Cleary, marks on centre wing.
Well done by Cleary there. He's seen that Parker was going to come in board, went off his opponent and read it. Good play.
Gallagher wide, but opts to go long and strong down the corridor. Offhand, Slogue there, collects, he's claimed in the tackle immediately. Umpire hovered for moments, but he says, I'll have it. So 40 out from the Dogs' goal, kick to the left of the dial. Darcy there with Sherry. Trying to barge his way through Sanders, got chopped off, and now Scott for the Roos. Low laser beam. Darling competes, couldn't stick the mark at the front and centre again. Scott, and then Hanson Jr. riding shotgun was corralled by Gallagher. Out of bounds, true centre wing broadcast side. 11.5 left second term. Triple M Bunnings trade scoreboard. The Bulldogs 6-4-40. North Melbourne at 3-6-24.
Ball in on the wing. Darcy again tangles with Sherry and Rucker, palms it down straight to Gallagher of the Dogs. Hands it off to Kennedy in his club debut from the wing. Spears the kick to half forward. West couldn't complete the mark. It spills the way of North Melbourne. Through the hands of O'Sullivan. West comes crashing in. Gets the handball out to Richards. Under pressure by Simpkin. Gets the handball out to Norton, who gives it to West. At half forward. Has to go defensive by hand. Great run down tackle from Core, and he's won himself a free kick.
Yeah, it was great work by Core again. Riley West had a couple of second, third, fourth efforts there. Again, he's a little cannonball, but unfortunately didn't get the hands away on that one, and Core had a great tackle.
Well, I got your Hosco. Choice hotels around the grounds at the MCG.
Collingwood 48, Port Adelaide at 26. 11 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Timmy Membry's already kicked 3 for the Pies. That will send shudders through Saints fans' spines.
And on cue, still side bottoms just kicked a goal as well.
McDonald from right half back just belts it down the line, and Zerha floats across in front of the pack and takes a good mark.
They've got one-on-one forward now, so Zerha's got to get back quick and get it going forward before the Dogs get back.
Set up the zone. Too slow, John.
Yeah, far too slow.
Zerha pokes at that kick, and that was horrible. Turned it over straight into the hands of Williams.
He was too worried about getting up and saying something to the guy on the mark rather than just getting back, getting on with business, because he had two of Darling and Larkey one-on-one inside the forward 50.
Dogs by 16. Williams short to Liberatore. Short again to Sanders on the wing. Marks on halfway. Fullback going in board. Elects to go down the line looking for English. Coming across to chop it off was Zerha, and sends it out of play. We're going to have a ball in between wing and half forward. Dogs into attack.
Real opportunity tonight for Sanders. No Bontempelli, no Treloar on the side. He's got to stake his claim, doesn't he, Jono?
Yeah, he certainly does. He's been around there last year. He was getting games. He was in and out at various times. So at the moment, he's got the 6th possession. So he needs to actually get himself going. He's got 5 uncontested possessions as well, part of that.
Fraser, high ball inside 50 off hands. The front and centre from Dolan was nice. Left foot ball, top of the square. Davidson, couldn't reel in the mark. Picked up Scott. He just belts it around his right shoulder. Tumbling ball out towards Phillips. Bramble for company. Tumbling. And the ball beats them both out of bounds. 55 around from the Bulldogs' goal left of your dial.
At least Dolan showed a bit of speed then, didn't he? Around that contest, just got the ball and then basically just took off and put the afterburners on it. It was great play.
Darling up against English in ruck. Umpire spins the ball back into play. English in front position. Palms it down. Sanders taps it on to McNeil, to Fraser on the right. Kick smothered. Ricochets towards Caleb Daniel. Hands it off to O'Sullivan, the first gamer. Now to Darling in his club debut. At half-back for North Melbourne. Lovely delivery to Zerha, who's marked in space inside the centre square. Quick to move it on to a one-on-one. Larkey against O'Donnell. And held. Free kick, Larkey. He'll line up for a chance at his third goal. He's only 15 metres out, tight angle to the right.
And that's the first time we've seen North Melbourne actually go forward off the half-back flank. Unfortunately for O'Donnell there, when they both jumped for the ball, he lost his footing. He was coming down. Larkey kept his footing and he just dragged Larkey down with him at the same time. The free kick was certainly there.
It's been a good response to North Melbourne in the second quarter. They need to make it count in front of the sticks. Larkey for his third, and North Melbourne's third in a row. He sends it through the middle. And they're back to within 10 points. Western Bulldogs 6-4-40, North Melbourne 4-6-30.
And that was a much, much better transition from North Melbourne, Jono. They've gone from defensive transition on one end of the ground to the other, but you look at your players like Jack Darling that was just involved. He had a lovely kick, changed lanes to the other side of the ground to hit Zerha, and then Zerha launched an absolute bomb 60 metres to get it down there to Nick Larkey.
It's a downstairs for Bob Jones team. Arts buy 3 get 1 free plus instant cash back on Bridgestone, Yokohama, Kumo and Pirelli. Visit bobjane.com.au today. T's and C's apply. Robbo?
Yeah, Larkey off the ground, so they're just changing up that forward line. His kick's free. I'm surrounded by North supporters down here. They're going off. They're back in business. This is good stuff.
Nice, Robbo. Kick 3, Larkey. Like Robbo said, they're back in business. Back to 10 points. For McDonald's, the room, hot water, Triple M rocks footy. It'll be North with the clearance as well. Powell off the back of the square was Daniel. He kicks up the half forward. Williams ducked through the tackle. Ball came loose. He's hunting Sheasel, but he's not rewarded. And the umpire comes in to separate them.
For Red Zeds, they're 10 plus in clearances at the moment to North Melbourne, so they actually need to get some reward for that.
Fraser almost threw it out to English. Comes off a couple of sets of shins, and Powell happy to see it out of bounds on the outer side. So Bulldogs 6-4-40. North Melbourne 4-6-30. That's all on the Triple M Bunnings Trade scoreboard. Don't forget Built Tough for Aussie conditions. When it comes to water heating, ask your plumber to install a room.
And we're only in the second quarter, but there were some hesitations around Nick Larkey earlier in the last few days, thinking that he had some corkies. So he obviously looks great now. Kicked his 3.
North Melbourne go inside forward 50 again. Dogs have the numbers. Curtis collects the footy. He's tackled immediately, and we've got a ball up 35 metres out from North Melbourne's goal.
Who's been influential in this quarter for Red Zeds there? Hosco?
Thank you, Red Zed Lending. We got Jai Simpkin has been huge. He's had the 8 disposals, 1 goal, 6 uncontested possessions, so his work rate has been huge. Core and Sheasel also for North Melbourne.
No winner from that ball up. We'll do it all again. 35 metres out from North's goal. They kick the last 3 of the game.
Well, liking their work on the Triple M Red Lending stats. Two men's listening in.
See you, Chew. See you, Heath. I'm coming in.
Spargo and Chew, listening to this. As the ball's tumbling towards the line, it's going to beat Sheasel out of bounds.
Just been unlucky a couple of times, North Melbourne now. They've gone forward. They've just missed the target every now and then if they had to hit that target, they had someone that was open inside 50 that could have pulled the trigger. So they just need to be consistent and keep going with what they're doing at the moment, because what they've turned out in this second term is certainly better than what they have in the first term.
3-1 this quarter, Jono, as Curtis is swooping on that one front and centre. Davidson bumped on the kick. Hanson Jr. steps around one, just jams it on the left boot. Darling! Front spot! And they rise to their feet all around the ground. They like the look of this, the North Melbourne fans.
And it was great composure by Hanson Jr. there as well. He had 2 players coming up at him. I was hoping that he'd keep his head over the ball. He'd done that. He broke a tackle and just got a wayward kick forward. It doesn't need to be pretty. Put it to the top of the square again. This is the second time they've gone to the top of the square. Put it up there. Force the Dogs defenders to defend. If not, your teammate will mark the ball.
22 majors last year. He lines up. And listen to the roar. He's a room for life, Jack Darling. Don't worry about that. As he gets his first major for the Roos. They've clawed the margin back to 4 points here at Marvel Stadium. Triple M Bunnings Trade scoreboard.
And that's 4 in a row, Hosco, now
yep.
for the Kangaroos. So they're starting to turn things around.
And Jack Darling, how good has he been as well? Really influential in 2 passages of play here, involved in the last 2 scores. I think that's just what he brings as well. He's got that wealth of knowledge and experience. This was an outstanding contested mark where he's just been able to hold his body position in front of Rory Lobb, who we know is extremely strong as well, but he's just timed it perfectly to get that separation and then get the goal.
For Bob Jane T-Mars, let's head downstairs to Mickey Roberts.
Yeah, and how good for the Roos too, with Larkey off the ground. He got up and actually stretched that calf, and then all of a sudden Darling takes that catch and then goals as well. So the key is Darling scoring with Larkey off the deck.
A 4-point ball game under the roof as Sheasel soccers it forward for North Melbourne. Here's Darling again, trying to get around Lobb. Needs to find support. Hand passes backwards to Scott. Kicks from the outside of the boot. Across forward 50. Hanson Jr. collects. Goes backward by hand to McDonald, who winds up and kicks it to a dangerous position. At the teeth of goal, they fly. Off hands. Curtis goes to ground. They go over the top of him. Dale picks it up for the Western Bulldogs and gives it to Williams in the pocket.
Clears the 50. Oh, big contest. They're hunting here. The young man O'Sullivan on debut affects the spoil and kills it out of bounds. 60 from home for North Melbourne.
That was huge from O'Sullivan as well. Really important contest to get that spoil and just get a little reset.
They're running in waves here, North Melbourne. They got a sniff. They trail by 4 as the ball's in on the outer side. Scott, there's been a push in the back, and the oxygen valve is just released here for the Bulldogs for a moment. Kennedy, the ex-blue, with ball in hand.
This is where the Kangaroos have just got to tighten up here, okay? They've been able to kick 4 goals in a row, so now they just cannot let the Dogs off the chain here.
And Red Z Lending, they've been dominating at the moment, stats-wise, disposals, kicks and handballs. So, you know, they've had a lot of control over the footy so far this quarter.
Dogs by 4 as Darcy takes a nice mark at half forward, hands it off to Kennedy, who kicks inside the arc onto the chest of Harms. Presents strongly and takes the mark, 40 metres out from goal, slight angle to the left.
And how good has James Harms been tonight, Jono? You've seen a few little passages of play in that first quarter in particular. We watched him have a few of those run and carry efforts, and he was one of the ones that actually got the ball inside 50 and hit some of the key targets, where I think his just work rate is what has shown for me tonight.
He's got the new do as well, Jess. You'll like that.
New year, new do. Can Harms provide the settler for the Dogs? Straight over the goal umpire's hat. Breaks a run of 4 in a row to North Melbourne. And the Dogs back out to a 10-point lead, 7-4-46 to 5-6-36.
You're not rocking the new hairdo this year, though, John.
No, mate, just fine with the silver stuff. But a lot more. I've got a bit more salt in the hair this year than pepper. But I'll probably get that dyed out midway through the year. See how we go. But that's the thing. I spoke about. North Melbourne just needed to. They had the opportunity to kick a goal, then they go that free kick away in that stoppage there on the right half back flank. They just need to tighten up and just beat some Dow defending and just don't let the Dogs get away with easy possessions. And the Dogs are able to transition that ball off the right half back all the way through the Harms to have a shot. They've got to concentrate a little bit more. They just don't know when to lock down and put the screws in and actually shut them down, and rather than just trying to play free-flowing football.
McDonald's a room hot water, Triple M at Rocks Footy. It's the Dogs by 10. Davies Uniac had it stripped, diving on it Kennedy. He just rocks it out the back door. McNeil applying pressure. Then Liberatore. Now Parker for his new club. Puts it out towards this wing. In fact, it was McDonald. Liberatore, left foot ball. It's a high one up to the 50. And Darcy. He wants to will and go here, and as you do, spots up Vandermeer. 35 from home, directly in front.
You spoke about Harms, and this is the reason they're having a shot on goal here. Harms created 2 missed tackles there. He got the ball, got around one bloke, got around another guy, and then got the ball over to Liver. Liver just put it forward, and then Darcy was so good with his body use, just pushed his opponent under the ball, took the mark, and squared it up to Vandermeer. That was outstanding by the Dogs. That's what we've seen them do in the first term.
Vandermeer on the runway. He set sail from 40. He's hung it out to the right. He hated it off the boot. So he just registers the minor score. Moved to 7-5-47, the Dogs. North Melbourne 5-6-36 Triple M Bunnings Trade scoreboard.
North Melbourne getting away with that one, but this is the critical time for them. We know that in the last few years they've really struggled in this red zone time. There's 3 minutes 30 left in this quarter, and Dogs have already had 2 shots on goal and quick ones at that.
Daniel has a bounce from the kick in, kicks out wide, but is intercepted by English at half forward. Spears the kick inside the arc, falls at the feet of West, who collects nicely, handballs over the top to Norton, then goes by hand to Sanders, had a fumble, then tackled, spun by Davies-Uniacke, umpire calls play on, picked up by Norton, and he sends it into the pocket by hand. Logue takes possession, he's tackled and will have a ball up in the right forward pocket for the Western Bulldogs.
3 minutes left in this second term.
Everyone should have a man now for the Kangaroos. There should not be no Bulldog spare here.
Bulldogs by 11. Ball up and down. Davies-Uniacke couldn't get it out. Daniel English just shovels it out. Kennedy backtracking. Williams snaps around his left shoulder. Back to the teeth of goal. The big men fly. Front and centre, Vandermeer! Sharked it. Snapped immediately. And they get 2 within a couple of minutes, the Dogs, to extend their lead. 8-5-53. North Melbourne 5-6-36. Triple M Bunnings Trade scoreboard.
Well, disappointing again from North Melbourne. As I mentioned, this is the critical time in the quarters. Dogs are just pressing and pressing and pressing. Vandermeer was outstanding. He stayed right at that drop zone of the contest. It was a perfect crumb as a small forward, as some would say, but he plays as a tall. Again, a great contest from your tools in Norton. I think it was Darcy as well. So, again, just looking at what Dogs have been able to do in these last couple of minutes, they're able to press it and get some really good looks at goal.
It's disappointing. I reckon for North Melbourne, I think what the coaching staff should do, they should actually grab the last 2 or 3 minutes and actually get them to watch that last 2 or 3 minutes now, where they've just let the Dogs back in this game. They were within 4 points, and now it's gone out to 17 points.
From the restart, Sherry tried to take it out of the ruck, paddles it forward only as far as Kennedy of the Dogs gives it to English. Back to Kennedy by hand. Under pressure with the kick towards half forward. Roseanne McDonald takes the step grab over Vandermeer at centre half back for the Roos.
He's looking broadcast side. He jagged the kick off the instep. Sheasel leads the foot race against Libar. Turns boundary side. Surely deliberate. Didn't hide that
Casual.
very well, Jono. But the umpires paid the benefit of the doubt. We'll have a toss in.
We'll go Quick Choice Hotels around the ground.
Let's
Collingwood
do it,
61, Port Adelaide 27. Dan Houston still leading the charge for disposals for Collingwood fans.
What stage of the quarter are we at there?
We're at minute 39, Jono. Thank you.
I just put my feet up, Oscar. You're doing fine work here. There's a scrambly kick forward by Parker, off hands. Libber, that was clean, got it to Gallagher. A worm-burning ball inside 50, but it always favoured Griffin Logue. And he takes it in the right back pocket.
So they would have trained this through pre-season. There's just under 2 minutes to go. So North Melbourne have got to try and maintain possession and just play the percentages at the moment.
Logue long down the line. Sorry, Jono. O'Donnell rises high and takes a nice mark.
They're just going to go man on man. Just man on man, spoil. Whatever you need to do, just kill the ball at every stage.
O'Donnell kicks inside 50 front position. English, no mark. Parker for the Roos. Hands it off to Logue under pressure with the kick, but it's going to work out as Curtis takes the mark at halfback.
Minute 30 left in this second term as he jams it down the line. And at full stretch, Darling takes it with clean hands. He's looking good tonight here, Darling. His kick not quite the 15. Davies-Uniacke good enough to fend off Liberatore, and then Libber just decks him afterwards. It's a free kick downfield. Larkey wants to get and go. He dishes off. Oh, knocked out of the hands at the last minute there. Good work, Lobb. Sheasel bobs up. Goes the banana. And it curls to the near side, minus score.
Burnt Larkey too.
Yeah.
He wanted it there, Nicky Larkey. He's already kicked 3. Sheasel said, nah, bit of party time here from the pocket. So with just over a minute left, Bulldogs 8-5-53, leading the Roos 5-7-37. Triple M Bunnings Trade scoreboard.
Cleary from the kick in short to Bramble, who then kicks short to Vandermeer a long way from home at right half back. Pokes the kick down the line to Fraser.
Outside 5.
Dogs by 16. They're led by 23 at quarter time. Fraser happy to waste a few seconds as we tick down towards half time. Winds up and kicks it to a pack down the line. Logue with the fist. Spills away of O'Sullivan, hands it off to Powell, and North Melbourne can reload from the wing, off to Scott, who kicks towards half forward, lob over the top, tried the mark and couldn't come down with it. It spills to Simpkin. Tries to slip the tackle, gets the handball out. Fraser collects. He's wrapped up by Scott. North fans want holding the ball and they get it.
They've got to move it quick. There's less than 15 seconds to go. They've got to get it in long.
He's looking up now, Scott, and he drives a low flat one, top of the square, and he's found his man in Zurhaar. He'll go back here, Cam Zurhaar, and have a shot after the siren. And on cue, you can hear it here, but lobs in the hands with the trainer holding his right shoulder there, John O'Hosco.
Yeah, it looked like it was that last contest that he tried to go over the top, and on his way down, I believe it looked like he had
might be a sternum
himself.
Holding his ribs there. Anyway, back live, Zurhaar on the halftime siren. Steers it home. Zurhaar gets his first. Margin back to 10 points here at the major break. We've seen 3 goals out of Larkey, 2 for Vandermeer for the Dogs as we go to the Triple M Harvey Norman, Hosco.
Yeah, it's Rory Lobb's gone straight over the top, but it just looks like on his way down, he's hit Jack Darling's shoulder, and it almost looks like it's his chest area of some sort, but he does look to be in quite a bit of discomfort at the moment, but in hands of the trainer.
So we'll keep an eye on that at halftime. Here is the major break for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. It's the Dogs 8-5-53, the Roos 6-7-43. McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M rocks footy.
That quarter for Bunnings Trade. Load up on landscaping at Bunnings Trade.
For McDonald's,
Triple M rocks the grand final.
Score a new deal every day with Macca's Footy Finals deals. Only on the My Macca's app.
The footy season is here. And CC's have teamed up with another tasty name synonymous with footy, 4 and 20.
They've combined their recipes to bring you classic meat pie and sausage roll and sauce-flavoured corn chips.
So now it's time to jump on the bandwagon and give them a crack. And now myself, Woodsy and Kat, well, we want to hear your best bandwagon stories. Head to triplem.com.au to enter for your shot at $1,000.
CC's 4 and 20 corn chips are the ultimate footy snack. You can't say no. Just say CC's.
All right, sir, so what kind of holiday are you after?
I am thinking a tropical skiing art trip.
Okay.
With a safari.
Liam doesn't like to compromise.
Faced with a choice, I choose everything.
That's why he switched his home loan to Macquarie, where good borrowers get it all. A great rate with all the features he could need, seamlessly managed through the award-winning Macquarie Bank app.
That way I don't miss out on anything.
Get a home loan designed with good borrowers in mind. Search Macquarie Home Loans or speak to your broker and say,
I bank with Macquarie.
Lending criteria, fees and T's and C's apply.
We are Triple M Footy. Launch your punting plan with the Ladbrokes app. Take on the fun and download the Ladbrokes app today. What's gambling really costing you?
Triple M Footy. Hello. Frank Walker from National Tiles. The famous National Tiles Spend and Save is on now. Spend $4,000 will only charge you $2,750. Spend $2,000 will only charge you $1,450. Or spend $1,000 will only charge you $750. Yes, the more you spend, the more you save at the National Tiles famous Spend and Save. But you'll have to be quick. So rush into a National Tiles store near you or go online at nationaltiles.com.au now and save.
At Bunnings, we make it easy to bring your kitchen together. We've got the range of modular cabinets that are ready to go, straight off the shelf. Come in store and chat with a kitchen expert. You can choose the colours and profiles you like, and we'll help you bring it all together with a kitchen from Bunnings.
The Garrett Advancing Motion Sydney Jamboree is at Sydney Dragway today. Australia's fastest flame-throwing drag cars, show cars, traders and free kids rides and face painting. Take the family out today. Tickets at jamboree.com.au.
The long discussions. Should we? Shouldn't we? Then the decision. It's time to sell this place. Now you have to take a leap of faith and find an agent. If you don't know how to evaluate the right agent to sell your home, you're not alone. But localagentfinder.com.au can help. With localagentfinder.com.au, you'll find an agent who understands your needs and wants to get you the best result possible. Compare and connect with the right agent at no cost. Search Local Agent Finder.
Try the new Subway Signature Menu today. It's all your favourites, made with just the right amount of tasty, cravey, cheesy goodness. Now that's the subway to Tasty Town, where that sub is the mayor. But you're also allowed to eat the mayor.
Toolboxes, a tradies' repository of hammers, screwdrivers, and wisdom. Because toolboxes know more than tradies give them credit for. They see the tradies' attempts to grow their business, the random advertising on search, social, classifieds.
Start with high pages.
They yell,
You get more jobs.
cries unheard from the back of a ute. Tradies, to build your business,
Start with high pages.
Shut up! The footy's on Triple M!
Triple M Rock Footy.
This halftime break for Specsavers Audiology. Rediscover the joy of everyday sounds with a Specsavers hearing expert today.
Halftime Marvel Stadium. Dogs a small lead here. They're 8-5-53. The Roos 6-7-43. Vandermeer's kicked a couple for the Dogs, and Nick Larkey has got 3 for North Melbourne. Got Sarah Hosking, Chris Johnson here in the back row today on the Cbus Super Special comments. How did we see that first half, Jono?
Yeah, look, it was, North Melbourne, they started very poorly. They only kicked 1 goal to 5 in the first term, and then they come out. They kicked 4 in a row, and then they kicked the last one. So they won that quarter. They won the second quarter. They didn't win the first quarter. The Dogs were outstanding, working the ball through transition in the first term. The Kangaroos were able to hold them up a little bit. But again, I said it a few times during the call that the Kangaroos need to realise they got within 4 points. They just need to be able to get a message across. They need some coaches out there. They need some senior players to say, hey, guys, we're 4 points in it. There's only 3 or 4 minutes to go. We just need to lock down and actually get through this. Instead, they let the Dogs go through and kick 2 goals and then brings that margin back to 10 points. So they need to actually coach each other out the ground, and you've got to help each other out there.
Absolutely, and I'm going to jump into Red Z lending stats. We spoke about it. I know, yes, it's a big deal every time I say it at the moment, Jono. But as you mentioned, North Melbourne, they're plus 13 in the clearances. So in that first quarter, as you mentioned, they weren't able to capitalise. But we are seeing some of the score sources coming out of Western Bulldogs. They had 3 goals from turnovers in that first quarter alone, didn't score from turnovers in the second quarter, and it was what North Melbourne were able to do then for that second quarter. They were the ones that were able to score from turnovers and generate some of their scores right through the middle and through their stoppages. But we have a look at some of the leading ball winners as well. Kennedy, as his debut for Western Bulldogs as well, coming across from Carlton. He leads the charge with 17 disposals, 3 inside 50s and 3 clearances. Ed Richards not far behind on the 16. He's kicked himself a goal, 4 inside 50s. We jump across to North Melbourne. Powell leading the way with 19, Simpkin 17 and a goal, and Sheasel not far behind on 16.
Well, they've got your Osco Choice Hotels around the grounds. You get more for your money, so you can check into more. Get the lowest price guarantee when you book direct at choicehotels.com. What's happening between Collingwood and Port Adelaide at the MCG?
At the G, Collingwood, get it out. Choking on my sandwich from before. Collingwood is up 61-27, and for those Collingwood supporters and fans, they'd be very happy. Dan Houston is having a day out, 17 disposals, and Tim Membry has also kicked 3 goals, 1.
Yeah, Houston 17 touches on his debut against his old mob. That's impressive.
And they look a lot better too. Just been watching them a little bit too. So obviously last week they went up to play the Giants up there. And they were a little bit sort of hamstrung with Dacos and everyone else, but they look better tonight, Collingwood.
It's time for a segment you love, John.
Oh, yes.
I think when you first came across Triple M Footy, you were every week for the first 4 or 5 months.
Yes, there was.
You're a serial offender. It's the halftime segment. Amy Clangers, you'll learn to love this one, Jess.
I'm
when
scared
Clangers happen, it's lucky you're with Amy.
It's an honour to be Amy Clanger.
This is how our Amy Clanger played out in the first half. Johnson in the back row with Sarah Hosking as the ball comes down.
Umpire down.
Central umpire takes a dive. Let's go. They love that one in the stands.
Sorry, I shouldn't be laughing.
You weren't the only one laughing, Hosco.
Jono's got the giggles.
It's a rusty start for everyone. It's round 1. The umpires are taking a tumble.
So sorry to interrupt you there, Timmy.
Norman Breakway is brilliant. He's almost gone over the ball, but he's tripped on his own feet.
You love a clanger, John.
Oh,
no doubt about it. You enjoy those clangers. You're the first one to giggle every time. Earlier today, it was Geelong over Fremantle by 78 points, and then we had the grand final rematch between the Lions and the Swans, and the Lions got up by 4 points, and the team caught up with Josh Dunkley after the game.
We're here with the man that's just been given 3 votes in the Triple MVP, Josh Dunkley. Josh, great win and close in that last quarter. Were you nervous there, or did you have the faith all the time?
No, I mean, we've played in so many close games as a team, and obviously the first game of the year for us, so it's always nice to practice the things that we've put to work throughout the pre-season, and I guess history shows that we can play well in those close games, so having a lot of confidence in those moments is really important.
And a kid who's just got a Gatorade shower, Levi Ashcroft. You've already got one Ashcroft who's dominating the competition. Having two's a bit, is it unfair?
No, I don't know if it's unfair, but they are great guys, obviously both on and off the field. What they bring on the field everyone sees, but off the field, the people that they are, the family that they bring along with them, it's just an incredible family, and we're very grateful to have them.
Josh, it's Jude Bolton up in the box. Congratulations on a fantastic win, mate. Just the gutsiness of this team, particularly after it looked like you're blowing the cobwebs out initially in the first term, a few fumbles and drop marks and things like that. You're able to just get into your game, particularly in that third term.
Yeah, thanks, Jude. It was a tough battle. We knew the Swans were going to come out red hot after not only last week but last year as well in the grand final result. So we knew that they were going to be up for the fight. We did blow the cobwebs out in that first quarter. Bloody hell, it was hot out there. I'll tell you, it was a tough game in that first quarter. But yeah, really settled after that. I felt, and I think it works around the ball when we win the contested footy and own the territory game. That's the main thing for us. So it was nice to be able to do that from the second quarter sort of onwards.
Josh, Brenton Speed upstairs as well. Your midfield mate Lockie Neal kept to just 10 disposals today by James Jordan, but you're still able to get it done. It becomes a team effort in that respect.
Yeah, it was great from Lock today. I mean, he was saying to us out on the ground he doesn't care how many touches he gets, he just wants us to win. So that's what you want from your skipper, and he's such a selfless person, and obviously that's what it takes to win games like this. If everyone's really doing their role and playing their role, that's what the better sides do in the end.
Josh Dunkley with us on Triple M Footy. Brad Seymour upstairs, mate. Congratulations on a great win, a stirring win. Love the conviction up here in the box watching you lost. Young Lohman early, injury to Logan Morris. We see him come back on the ground. Put your forward six in a bit of disarray, but you were still able to find a way.
Yeah, I mean, we pride ourselves on our depth and being able to play in multiple positions, and it might not seem like that every week because there's a lot of guys playing the same position, but when we do training throughout the week, we're rotating through there, and guys are playing forward, guys are playing back. You look at Connor McKenna. He was our sub last year in the grand final. This year, he was our sub today, and he comes on, he can play anywhere. So things like that are really important for our team and our makeup.
And you're happy to mix and match down back too. I mean, led by Harris Andrews again, back six, like when it really mattered. And as Jude mentioned before, when you got those cobwebs out of the system after quarter time, the back six were basically impenetrable.
Oh, they've been incredible. Ever since I've been at the footy club, guys like Ryan Lester probably don't get the recognition they deserve. Harris Andrews, obviously talked about a lot, but he's our skipper and we expect that from him. So, playing your role is really important down there. I'd like to shout out Noah Ransworth. I think he's had a really important 12 months and he's playing some ripping footy for us. So, great to have someone like him in the team.
And hopefully Charlie Cameron comes back into the side. Obviously a late withdrawal today, but he kicked 9 in the intra-club. I mean, God, he's overdone it, has he?
He probably worked too hard in the inter-club, mate. He was up and about still pre-game for us, King, and we love him. Obviously, it'd be nice to have him out there, but unfortunately, he missed out today, and Levi came in. He was probably going to be our sub, and then obviously Connor McKenna as well. So guys just come in and fill those roles, and we just keep playing.
Well, Josh, we thank you for your time on Triple M Footy. The theatre was terrific this afternoon. A 4-point victory to kick off your season. Congratulations and thanks again for your time.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Josh Dunkley there with the team up in Sydney after their 4-point win over the Swans. Back here at Marvel Stadium, it's half-time. It is the Dogs leading 8-5-53 over North Melbourne at 6-7-43 for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M rocks footy.
That halftime break for Specsavers Audiology. Rediscover the joy of everyday sounds with a Specsavers hearing expert today.
For Ream Hot Water and McDonald's.
Triple M rocks footy.
He's a working class man.
Hey, Jimmy Barnes here.
And there's no denying Triple M loves Barnesy.
I must admit, I love Triple M.
And we love him live and loud. Triple M presents Jimmy Barnes back with new music and taking it on the road for the Defiant Tour. Playing at the State Theatre June 27. Tickets on sale now. Head to frontiertouring.com. And your Barnesy ticket hookup is right here. Triple M.
Machinery, your one one-stop machinery shop.
The Hare and Falls Machinery House Mega March sale starts Monday, March 10. This is your chance to save up to 30% on more than 4,000 products. Save on the latest woodworking, metalworking, workshop equipment, lathes, mills, drills, bandsaws and more. Get into your jam-packed local store or shop online at machineryhouse.com.au. Sale starts March 10.
Hare and Falls Machinery House, your one-stop machinery shop.
Corner of Windsor and Boundary Roads, Northmead.
Hello. Looking to refinance? At CommBank, we've lowered our variable interest rate. Speak to a CommBank lender today and make the most of your home loan. It's another way you can. Effective Feb 28. Application subject to approval, terms, conditions, fees and charges apply.
There are times to go full strength. Then there's times to embrace the mid, like Carlton Dry 3.5. I'm talking to you, obnoxious beach cabana squatter. That temporary beachside property is all yours for 12 hours, even if you only use it for one.
Yeah, that'll do it.
While it might deflect the UV, it also attracts an FU. Maybe pack down your canopy of controversy and pick up an 86-calorie bottle of Carlton Dry 3.5. Embrace the mid. 18 plus only.
You can't say no. You can't say no.
Try the new CC's 4 and 20 Classic Meat Pie and CC's Sausage Roll and Sauce.
Win a tour of a lifetime with the Daily Telegraph and inspiring vacations. Plus get a $100 voucher for entering. Buy the paper, find today's code word and enter at winwithnews.com.au. T's and C's apply. New South Wales TP/03714.
Spending too much time in the shed used to be an issue. But with IMAR's new loyalty program, aptly named The Shed, I can now spend as much time in the shed as I like. You see, The Shed gives tradies insured with IMAR cashback rewards from heaps of brands, like Toolmart, Pet Barn and JBL. So now that my business is insured with IMAR, I can enjoy great cashback rewards. Visit imartheshed.com.au.
The tradies, mate. That's IMAR.
Great value internet? That's pretty good. But unbeatable value internet is even better. TPG will beat any eligible provider's NBN price over the first year, guaranteed. TPG. Offer available until withdrawn. Exclude NBN wireless. T's and C's apply. See website for more details.
These are Sydney's best buys.
Does biting into an ice cream make your teeth feel sensitive? Sensodyne Repair and Protect toothpaste provides lasting sensitivity relief with twice daily brushing. Always follow the directions for use.
Best buys.
Hikoki Power Tools, your trusted partner in cordless innovation, helping you nail it every time with the new second generation cordless nailer. Visit hikokipowertools.com.au.
Best buys. Bye-bye.
Shut up! The footy's on Triple M!
Triple M rocks footy.
This quarter, for titanium caravans. Stay off-road and off-grid for longer with a luxurious titanium caravan. Visit titaniumcaravans.com.au.
It's the halftime break for Specsavers Audiology. Specsavers Audiology, rediscover the joy of everyday sounds with the Specsavers hearing expert today. It is the Bulldogs leading here at halftime, 8-5-53. The Kangaroos 6-7-43. Chris Johnson in the box with Sarah Hosking and Jess Webster making her debut tonight. She's calling the absolute socks off it. How have you seen that first half, Jess?
Oh, it's fun. I think, North Melbourne are here to play, and they came back in that second quarter to make a contest of it. So I wanted to ask to our awesome experts, at halftime, who is the happier team? The team that has a few injuries and is trying to kind of get by in round one with a win and they're 10 points up at halftime, or the team who won 3 games last year and are taking it up to a finals contender?
I reckon it's the team that's taken up to the finals contender. I think that's the team that is probably going to walk away and be very, very happy with their performance. And I think you're gonna sort of walk away and go, okay, what did we practice over the pre-season? Was it A, B, C, or D? Yes, it was. And did we execute it? Yes, we did, but we didn't get over the line.
And I think you look at Western Bulldogs right now. They're missing a few personnel, but I guess that's their issue, and that's what you want when you come finals time is the depth on your list. So regardless of having a couple of players out, you want to be able to perform whether or not you're missing 1, 2, or 3. Aside from the fact that, yes, they're very, very much so key players in Bont, Treloar and Liam Jones, Cody Wakeman.
Let's head downstairs for Bob Jane Team Master. Buy 3, get 1 free, plus instant cash back on Bridgestone, Yokohama, Kumo, Pirelli. Visit bobjane.com.au today. T's and C's apply. Mickey Roberts, what's happening down there?
Yeah, Rory Lobb was the one on half-time on the siren. He got a heavy crunch. He come over a pack, landed on a North bloke and grabbed sort of midriff and sternum around the ribs, top of the ribs. So he was in a bit of pain as he walked off the ground, but we saw some shots at half-time of him down in the rooms. He's done the warm-up now, so that is a great sign that he'll take his place in the back line. They need him. He's so mobile, but there was a bit of a scare through the Bulldog camp.
She's pretty warm down there too, Robbo. I saw the makeup was having a bit of troubles at half-time. You needed a touch-up.
Makeup and mascara's running, a whole lot. It's so hot. You blokes are complaining up there. Seriously, it's like a fridge up there compared to down here. I am seriously going to get in the Speedos. It is that bloody hot down here.
Don't.
Hit the showers, Robbo. The scoreboard this quarter, Triple M Titanium Caravan scoreboard. Looking for a luxurious, tough off-road caravan. Explore Australia like never before in a titanium caravan, where rugged durability meets premium comfort. Australian-made and 100% Australian-owned, built for the toughest terrain with superior quality and ultimate luxury. Here's Jess Webster for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M Rocks Footy.
The Dogs win the clearance out of the middle. English got the handball away. Out to Gallagher, who gives it off to Fraser. Hand passes to Dale from the bullseye. Gives it off to Liberatorius forward of halfway. Kicks to full forward in the Sam Darcy direction. Well done, Comben. Brings it to ground and then hands it off to Logue, who gives it to Call. Last line defence. Shifts the kick into the pocket and they've done that nicely, North.
Clever there. Went against the tide core. And now the kick outside 50 is not desirable. It's turned over into the hands of Dale, who spits it immediately inside to Gallagher, who darts it straight into the breadbasket of Powell. And now on the counter-attack, Scott takes a bounce at half-back, works his way up to the outer wing and then sends a high drop punt. Numbers here with the Dogs. The big fly over the top. Duray. Ball pings out. Well done, Darling. Threw his body in at it. Fraser. Toe poke out. Bramble. Met in a heavy tackle by 2, but he'll get a free kick in the left back pocket.
Just can't allow that, North Melbourne. Very good in terms of keeping the ball in there. Darling the slap forward. But then just coming in with a tackle, too much Curtis and Zerha there. They just got to make sure, yeah, your job is to go and tackle and put pressure on, but not actually to turn the ball over and give a free kick away.
Bramble short to Bailey Dale, who's marked inside defensive 50. Kicks out wide to Duray. He's marked defensive side of halfway. Continues to go down the line. North Melbourne with the numbers. The kick directed in the end. And Finn O'Sullivan, the number 2 draft pick, takes the intercept grab, kicks inboard to Comben, who's marked on defensive 50. A dangerous kick across the face of goal, but it works out on the Percher. Drop what he should have taken. Pounced on it by Harms, who gives it to Vandermeer, who punishes North on the rebound and kicks his third. And the Dogs are out to a 16-point lead. Early stages, third term here under the roof. 9-5-59 in North Melbourne, 6-7-43.
They just keep shooting themselves in the foot, don't they, North Melbourne, just with silly turnovers, little mistakes like that from McKercher. And look, every other day of the week, he'll take that mark and he'll cop that on the chin. But geez, Vandermeer, what an outstanding. Didn't have much time to think about it. Was working towards the boundary line. Pulled it across his left shoulder, outstanding, and he's got the new hairdo as well. He's got the shaven sides, he's got the bleach in the hair, but really good game for him so far. He's kicked the 3 goals, and I don't know what possessions he's had so far, Hosco, but I'm sure you can tell us.
I can. Red Z Lending, he's had the 9 disposals, he's had 5 contested possessions as well, and he, as you mentioned, he's just been extremely influential so far.
McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M Rocks Footy. It'll be Davies Uniac with the centre clearance. A low, flat, driving one in the Larky direction. Oh, good hands, O'Donnell. He was solid, and now he spears a low, flat one. Oh, no, that's a horrible one. It's turned over to Zerha.
Yeah, it was Libba.
It was a mark. Libba carried him to the turf afterwards, was it?
No, it was Libba who turned the ball over. It was Zerha's mark, but then they tried to claim it straight after he marked it in, I think it was Fraser. But outstanding there. Kangaroos, they put the pressure on. The first kick was almost a touch and go one, and then they put the pressure on again. So credit to North Melbourne here. They've got to go back. Zerha's got to go back and kick. He's probably had about 4 or 5 shots. He's kicked 1 already. He's got to go back this and make it this second.
29 goals last year. He's on the runway. He hits it. It's right to left, and not enough. One behind. Bob Jones team marks Ricky Roberts.
I've just noticed that Parker and McDonald, two really experienced players, just picking up what Jono said. If those experienced guys are through the spine or across half-back in the back six, they're directing all that experience. They need them out there.
Dogs from the kitchen have worked it all the way to Darcy at half-forward, who kicks a centering ball to the top of 50. It's marked by Fraser.
Vandermeer's all by himself. He hasn't seen him.
Kicks it short and wide to Richards, who hands it off to Bailey. Dale streaming inside forward 50. You know the end result. Bailey Dale's kicked his second. And this is a great start to the Dogs in the second half. 21 points the margin. 10-5-65 to North Melbourne. 6-8-44.
Well, again, Bailey Dale, outstanding. He's a half-back running machine. He gets himself in a good position of a received handball. In that range, anywhere between sort of 60 to 40, give him the handball. He doesn't break stride and just slots that straight through. Again, North Melbourne just, that goes back to Zerhar's goal. Zerhard needs to kick that goal a little earlier. Instead, they give the ball back. It's a long point. Give the ball back. The Dogs come the other way and score a goal.
And we're only a couple of minutes in this third quarter. Bailey Dale already with the 5 disposals and a goal to his name.
Choice hotels around the ground, Sosco?
Collingwood at 67, Port Adelaide at 28 in the 16-minute mark of the third quarter.
So back in the middle for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M rocks footy at Marvel Stadium. It's the Bulldogs leading by 21 points over the Roos. Ball up and down. Knocked out the back, Fraser. More mid-time minutes in this game. Sheasel. Swift hands out to Scott, who just tumbles one forward towards Larkey. Well done. O'Donnell again. He's agile. Slaps it out the back door for Bramble, who popped it back to O'Donnell. Duray mown down. Holding the ball. Great tackle, Will Phillips, and he's rewarded on the outer side.
Showed a bit of speed then, Will Phillips. He's not really known for his speed, but that was outstanding by him.
Dogs by 21. Phillips sends it inside the arc. Lucky! Got a bit of elevation. Could have come down with a mark. Curtis laying a strong tackle. Locks things up 40 metres out from home.
Again, important here for the Kangaroos just to lock this ball inside their forward 50 for the next 5 or 6 minutes and get a score.
Sherry with the tap. It spills away of Davies Uniacke, who gets around Dolan. Kicks it towards the teeth of goal. A one-on-one through the hands of O'Donnell. Lob is out the back. Hands it off to Dale right up against the goal line and chips short to find Bramble in the back pocket.
Bulldogs by 21. Triple M Titanium Caravan scoreboard. Stay off road and off grid for longer with a luxurious Titanium Caravan. Visit titaniumcaravans.com.au. We're scrolling that often, aren't you, Jono? Titanium Caravans?
Yeah, would love one of them.
Yes.
Rock one up at my place, please, Tim.
Yes, let's see if we can get you one throughout the year, Jono. There's North Melbourne across half-back, the pressure being applied. McKercher fans one out to this broadcast wing, and he's got Zerha. He wants to get and go, and now he darts one down the line to Darling, who showed some toe. He takes off, wobbles one. That's beautiful delivery. Didn't have to break stride, Larkey, and he'll go back to kick his fourth.
That was an outstanding kick by Jack Darling. We've already mentioned he's been involved in a number of passages that have resulted in scores. And again, just that maturity that he brings to this side. You're seeing the presence that he has around some of these younger players as well.
They're crying out for that second forward, and at 32 years of age, Darling still looks like he's got some athleticism and agility. As Larkey fires here. He likes it. He loves it. Nicky Larkey gets his fourth at the start of this third term. The North Melbourne claw back, 7-8-50. The Bulldogs 10-5-65. Triple M Titanium Caravan scoreboard.
They're just doing it the hard way, though, North Melbourne. It was great work, as Hosco said, with Darling being in there, McKercher, Zerha, all being involved, but they had the ball in the middle of the corridor at the true centre-half back. They came out to the wing. They then went out to half-forward, and then they went to the forward pocket. So they went really, really wide. They stretched the Bulldogs' defence because they were protecting the corridor. But, geez, this kid, Nick Larkey, I've backed him for the Coleman this year. I reckon after this week, he'll certainly be the favourite for the Coleman after this week. Without anyone else, I don't think anyone else has kicked any big bags this week. And we're only at three-quarter time. I reckon he's got at least another 3 in him.
The McDonald's and Ream Hot Water Triple M rocks footy. Back in the middle we go. Ball spills away of Sheasel. He's stripped of it by Liberatore. McDonald picks it up for North. Hands it off to McKercher from left half back. Down the line to a one-on-one. Constanti against Duray. Constanti can't keep it alive. It goes out of play and we'll have a ball in front of the interchange gates.
He's looked nice tonight, McKercher, across that half-back role. The number 2 draft pick. They're going to want to hang on to him, though, Jono. Good Tassie boy. Out of contract at the end of 26. We know the Devils are coming into the comp in 28.
Yeah, they've got to make sure that they sign him up before that and get him on a long-term deal, that's for sure.
Fraser clearing wobbly ball. Norton flies and he pulls it down on the second bite. Had it knocked out of the hands afterwards by McDonald. And it'll be 50 metres to take him right to the line.
Yeah, McDonald tackled him after he took the mark. He thought it came off a few sets of hands, but I'd love to see the replay here because at the moment I reckon it's probably not a mark as he waltzed inside and kicks the goal. No one stands the mark, Timmy.
They were disgusted, the Roos. No one wanted to stand the mark, so easy as you like. Norton pops Hope his second. They get the instant reply, 11.571, North Melbourne 7.850, Triple M Titanium Caravan scoreboard. Stay off-road and off-grid for longer with a luxurious Titanium Caravan. Visit titaniumcaravans.com.au. What are you seeing, Hosco?
Yeah, just on the Harvey Norman replay, he has gone the double grab Aaron Norton. He did take it cleanly, in my opinion, and he's just... as you mentioned, it was McDonald that has just come in, tackled him. He obviously hasn't seen it. He thought it was a double take. Thought that someone else got his hands to it. It's a bit unfortunate for him, but it is there.
Well, don't forget, go Harvey Norman up at 20% off Acer and Lenovo computers in-store and online now. And Harvey Norman, best brands, best prices, guaranteed, is Jess Webster on Triple M Footy.
A wobbly bounce in the middle and spills the way of Darcy for the Western Bulldogs. Got a handball out. The Dogs work it towards half forward. Nice pick up from Vandermeer. Crunched in a tackle by Simpkin. Holding the ball. Free kick, North Melbourne.
You nearly got a giggle out of her, John. She was close.
We'll have her by the end of the game.
Yeah.
Simpkin short to Parker in the middle. He hands it off to Finn O'Sullivan. He can kick North Melbourne inside forward 50. A one-on-one. It gets out the back. A chance for North Melbourne. Whistle on play for it. Push out. Advantage paid as North Melbourne get the goal. Davies Uniacke running into an open goal and kicks his first. Margin back to 15 points. The Dogs 11.571 to North 8.856.
Back-to-back goals for the Kangaroos. Last time they went on a streak like this, they kicked another 2, so they went on a 4-goal streak in that second quarter. But again, they look so dangerous, and I don't know whether it's an instruction, Hosco, but they've got to come through the corridor a lot more, the Kangaroos, because when they do, they just look so dangerous. When they come wide, the Dogs are able to get the numbers back and slow the ball down a little bit. So I think what the instruction needs to be is actually get in there and actually use the corridor. Hold off, and if there's nothing on, yes, go long down the line, but try and come through the corridor as much as you can because they look so dangerous when they come through the corridor.
And taking the game on, I think that's what they're doing well, and when they're getting those clean disposals off, that is when they're looking dangerous.
So we're going goal for goal here at Marvel Stadium. It's the Dogs by 15 for McDonald's and Room Hot Water, Triple M Rocks Footy. Simpkin out the back of the stoppage, drives the ball up inside 50. Lob, who was in all sorts at half-time. It's picked up O'Donnell. He's been impressive, got the handball up. And immediately tackled Giray. No prior opportunity, says the umpire.
And again for the Red Zeds, they are dominating the clearances here, North Melbourne, 17 to 32. So they are actually dominating the clearances. They've got to make use of it.
Simpkin stripped to the footy, no free kick. Spills the way of Fraser. Can't take it with him. Plenty of numbers around the footy. We'll have a ball up at right half forward. North Melbourne into attack. Dogs by 23 at quarter time, 10 at half time. The margin sitting at 15. So whistle on play. A free kick to North.
Not too sure. I think it was language potential because there was nothing really happening around the ball that I was looking at, Jess. But
so Luke Parker in his club debut. 70 out from goal, sends it into the pocket. O'Donnell rises high with a fist. It spills away of Dale. He's tackled and umpire calls for a ball up 20 metres out from goal.
Halfway through this third term, it's an arm wrestle. Can the Roos strike? They're deep in attack. Darling in the ruck. He got slapped out wide. Richards corralled by Phillips. High ball outside 50. The debutant O'Sullivan there. Got pickpocketed by his teammate Daniel. Now Parker. The new faces line up. And now the kick back on the 45. Doesn't favour Logue. Bit of leg speed, McNeil. Slaps it out. Well done, McDonald. Got back to save the day, and then it's picked up off the laces by Jackson Archer. He went the don't argue, and then he massages it wide and finds Comben, true centre wing on the outer side.
Intensity lifting here under the roof halfway through this third quarter. Dogs by 15. Comben flares it out wide to Powell. He pokes it short to Caleb Daniel, who marks just inside the field of play.
They're flirting with danger North Melbourne at the moment. Nearly kicked that one out in the full, and they nearly turned it over when they switched it just before.
He's got it on true centre wing, city side. Called to play on is Caleb Daniel. Runs inboard and then pumps it to a pack at half forward. Larky goes up, no mark. Spills the way of Darling doing the roving. Hand passes it forward. Zerha comes in, lovely spin move, trying to get out of traffic. Hand pass couldn't find a target. Lob is there for the Western Bulldogs. It's picked up by Scott, who gives it to Simpkins. Squeezes a kick to the teeth of goal. Back with a flight was Larky. Couldn't bring it down. A chance for Hansen. Gets the hand pass out to McDonald. Tried to find Zerha, but they turned it over.
Duray, little sidestep was cute.
Oh, well done.
He gave it to his teammate under pressure. It was the first gamer in Dolan. He's caught by Constanti, who immediately looks into the spine and bites off a ball to Scott, 40 from home.
Constanti, well done there. That persistent, he chased and got his man. Well done to Kangaroos. They needed to lock it in there. They needed to have another score to bring this scoreboard pressure up.
That's what you want from your first gamers, Jono.
Certainly do.
So Scott, can he reward the effort? He fires a goal from 40. And the Roos fans rise in their seats. They're enjoying this output from this Kangaroos outfit. They're 9-8-62. The Dogs 11-5-71. We've got a game on our hands at Marble.
Yeah, great work rate and effort from North Melbourne. As we spoke about, it's those little things. So from Constantine, just to be able to apply that pressure in the tackle, a chase down tackle, that is huge. And in these key moments, Jono, you spoke about how North Melbourne can capitalise on getting these repeat goals again and again. They have to use this momentum while they have it.
And they need to use the clearances. So they're winning the clearances, they're winning around the ground, but these centre clearances are so important for them. You've got 6v6 going forward, so if you win the centre clearance, don't muck around flirting around with the handball, just get it into a one-on-one scenario.
The McDonald's and Ream Hot Water Triple M Rocks footy margin is 9 points halfway through this third quarter. The way of the Dogs. And we're going to have a recalled bounce in the middle. A couple of moments for us all to collect our thoughts, take a breath. Game on here under the roof. Darling in English and Ruck. English down to Liberatore. Couldn't take it with him. Goes in for a second effort. Phillips over the top of him, but they coughed it up to West, who loses his feet and goes to ground. Still by hand to English, but he's turned it over to Hansen. North back the other way as he gives it to Sheasel. Kicks up towards half forward. Curtis can collect in space on the 50-metre line. Looping hand pass to Simpkin. Dodges around a couple of Bulldogs. Jams it on the left. That'd be something special, but he's missing near side for a minor.
I tell you what, some of these turnovers from North Melbourne, Simpkin is absolutely outstanding. It's a shame he didn't finish that. At the moment, Reds lending. North Melbourne have scored 3 goals from turnovers this quarter alone.
He burned a couple of guys in the corridor as well.
Would have been a captain's goal though.
Yeah.
He's taking his game to another level this year. He did last year, but I feel like he's putting together a good performance.
The debutant O'Sullivan at half-back, got it to Call, flicks it back to O'Sullivan. Oh, that's creative. Look at him. He shows a bit of dare and flair, and then he hits up the target in Sheasel. He's got some class. He's wrapping around now.
There's a bit of hope and kick. There's a bit of hope and kick that one for him.
Got in a bit of trouble. Got it to Darling. Took an eternity as he had to dump the kick down the line, and it's cut off by Fraser.
Bites the kick off in the middle. Finds English, defensive side of halfway. Dogs by 8, north of the last couple of the game. English bombs it towards half forward. Kennedy has 3 Roos to beat. Spills away of Vandermeer. Got the handball out to Kennedy. Has Davidson in support. Already kicked one in his debut. Hooks the kick around the corner towards the teeth of goal. It's marked by Archer on the last line of defence for North as he chips laterally to Daniel in the goal square. Not the required distance, but it's good enough to find Sheasel in the pocket.
Could have raffled it there. Darling sucking in some gas in the back pocket. He's run a long way. So Sheasel, not many options. Some tired bodies out here in round 1. Hot night. As he goes down the line, Zerha competes well. Lob. He looks a little bit tentative since half-time when he popped the knock in the ribs. And then The free kick rewarded here on this broadcast, wing to Constanti. Have you seen his game, Hosco, on debut?
Yeah, I think he's been impressive. As we mentioned before, he's done some really good things, and in particular, some of these really good, strong tackles and defensive efforts. I've really liked his game.
True centre wing. Constanti again bobs up. Got it to Phillips. Handball inside. Shiggs will set up. Good tackle laid. Now Davidson. Handballs to West out the front of the stoppage. And now he's got Vandermeer with an absolute panic. He gathers. Pokes a little kick forward. And he's got a leading man in Kennedy who slides one inside 50. And leaking forward, Sanders takes it 45 from home on a 45.
Yeah, they had the outnumber forward 50 first up. They've done well, the Kangaroos defence, to actually close it down. Vandermeer was in the short one. They then zoned off him, but then a flurry of midfielders just came through the middle, and Sanders was one of them. So, well done. Great composure there, not to blaze away there by Kennedy, and that's the experience that you'll get with him.
So played 14 games in his first season last year. Was in and out. Average 16 and a half touches a game. This would be his first goal in AFL footy. He wheels around the man on the mark, launches. That is a missile! Sanders gets his first goal in the big time. Not sure his teammates really know it because he's been in the system for 12 months. But he gets a few pats on his head. And the Bulldogs 12-5-77. North Melbourne moved to 9-9-63. That's on the Triple M Titanium Caribbean scoreboard.
And what a moment for Sanders there. Like you talk about this point in the game, it's the third quarter, a critical point. Again, North Melbourne have had a bit of this momentum coming back, and to be able to go back from just outside the 50-metre mark to come in and slot that goal, it's a very composed, measured head on him.
Had 2 stints in the VFL last year, so that'll do his confidence the world of good to start 2025 off in that kind of fashion. Another steadier to the Dogs, and just keeping North Melbourne at arm's length at the moment. Margin is 14 points from the middle. Big fist down from Sherry to Davies Uniacke. Looping hand pass is chopped off by West, who gives it to English to Bramble, who taps it forward intelligently to Liberatore. Snaps it towards half forward. Darcy in front position. Coleman, did he push him out? He did. Free kick to Darcy at left half forward.
I don't understand this rule. There's ones that they pay and there's ones that they do pay. So probably find himself a little lucky there, Darcy, I thought.
Kicked a goal in the opening quarter. Sam Darcy, and he's going back on his approach here. Coleman standing the mark 48 metres out from goal. An important kick coming up for Sam Darcy. In he comes on the approach. He'll let it fly from outside 50. The kick is on its way and touched on the line, I think, by Sherry.
Well done by Sherry. That was outstanding. Here, again, no one on Sherry, but he had free rein to run at that, and he launched from about 5 metres off the line just to make sure he got a hand and fingertip to it.
Voice of Sarah Hosking on the Triple M Seabus Super special comments. Seabus Super making hard work pay off since 1984. Proud member myself, Jono. Seabus Super. Surely you are too.
Yes, certainly am, Timmy. Certainly am. Like most of the team here at Triple M.
100%. We'll get behind the Seabus as they build their way down this wing. Constanti building his way into the game, puts it into the path here of Sheasel. He picks it up. He had a little fumble at the crucial moment. Handballs it out into space. Tackle Duray. He's clawed him, accosted Zerha. And he holds it up at the top of the attacking square for North Melbourne, but promising signs.
It's just that little bit of polish that they're lacking at the moment, North Melbourne, when they go forward. A couple of times they've been able to get shots on goal, but geez, they've got men free everywhere.
A chance deep in attack for North Melbourne. Larkey couldn't take it with him. Ball in dispute at the top of the goal square. English happy to see it through for a rush behind. He wasn't under immediate pressure, but given the benefit of the doubt as we see the Dogs player down and West.
Yes. O'Donnell, I think it's
O'Donnell, yes. Yeah. He took a jaw. Hit Robbo all over that.
In the hands of the trainers, having a chat to the doctor is O'Donnell. So we're just going to have a break in play at the moment. The Dogs 12-6-78 to North Melbourne 9-10-64.
So he's coming off the ground here, O'Donnell, as we see here on the Triple M Harvey Newman. It was the shoulder of Curtis. Is he in any trouble there, Oscar Jono, with the...
Well, they've both got their head over the ball, I think. I think O'Donnell's just come forward with his head
Why
as well.
was stopping play?
potential head knock. They'll stop play if they think it's a potential head knock.
Don't like that, Jono.
Thanks for clearing that up, Jess. Come on, Jono. Jess Webster doing it all on debut here at Triple M Footy. Sarah Hosking, Chris Johnson in the back row. As Williams on this broadcast wing pumps one in the Norton direction. Flying across there was Sherry the ruckman, now at ground level. Liberatore got it to Norton. Slippery little handball, couldn't get through. West, ball came out. An umpire says holding the pill. It's a fantastic tackle there by Simpkin. He's doing it at both ends. 4.5 left, third term. Bulldogs 78, North Melbourne 64. It's all on the Triple M Titanium Caravan scoreboard. You got any Red Z Lending stats there for us, Oscar?
I do. Red Z Lending, as you mentioned, Jai Simpkin, he is the leading disposal getter on the ground with 23 disposals, 1 goal, 9 contested possessions. So he is well and truly leading from the front.
North Melbourne have coughed it up on the wing. Gallagher at half forward for the Dogs. His kick is smothered, picked up by McKercher, gives it to McDonald, tackled by Norton. Got the handball out to Logue, who finds Hansen by hand, directs the kick down the line perfectly to Darling, who's marked on the wing in front of the interchange gates.
And they were away before that, Jess, when you said they turned it over. The North Melbourne were away. Darling just sort of fumbled the ball a little bit.
Darling's kick into the middle is a good one to find McKercher.
Centimetre perfect it was. As he massages one forward, Davies Uniac pins back the ears. At the last minute, he scans into the pocket and finds the young superstar in Sheasel, 20 from home, a couple of metres in from the boundary.
Much better coming through the middle of the ground. Yeah. Darling earlier where you called it, Jess, and then it came through again through him, and he actually made sure that he was able to mark the ball, bring it back in the corridor, and they look so dangerous when they take the game on through the corridor. They look so dangerous, North Melbourne. I just wish they could do it more.
So the 23 touches so far tonight, 5 clearances for Sheasel. He set sail from 30. Goal umpire working hard to her right. And we'll head downstairs to Robbo for Bob Jane T-Marts. They've got buy 3, get 1 free plus instant cashback on Bridgestone, Yokohama, Kumo and Pirelli. Visit bobjane.com.au today. Robbo!
Yeah, they've just told the sub to warm up. So that's Arthur Jones from the Western Bulldogs. Young O'Donnell, I know his famous father, Simon's in the audience now. He had blood coming from the mouth. So they're going to look at that jaw. They'll look at concussion, obviously a laceration, also a cut inside the mouth. So, yeah, everything could happen. The sub could be injected right now.
Thanks, Robbo. From the kick in, the Dogs have kicked it out of bounds on the full, and Zerha's marked 40 metres out, 10 in from the boundary. Left half forward to get them back to a single-digit margin. Zerha's missing near side. And we're at a 2-goal game here at time on of the third quarter at Marvel Stadium.
And Choice Hotels around the grounds, Hosco. What's happening at the MCG?
It's an absolute flogging. Collingwood on cue. Thanks, Big Tim. The score's just disappeared from the screen.
We'll come back to you as the Bulldogs take the game on.
Oh, here we go. We got
West gets it to Sanders. He cuts the handball back inside. Bramble, he's got runners everywhere. Gets it to Richards from 55. Long, strong. Norton couldn't quite. Ball off hands. And we'll go through for one behind. Hosco, Choice Hotels around the grounds.
Choice Hotels around the grounds. 105 to Collingwood, 29 Port Adelaide. Absolute flogging.
Oh, it's a 13-goal drumming there at the MCG. Collingwood have certainly bounced back.
We've got the good one here under the roof. North from the kick in. Got under pressure. Hand passes to Logue. His hand pass. It's come up the way of the Dogs. Norton sends it towards the goal face. A high up and under. Good luck marking that. Ought to be one in the goal square. Core. Short to Daniel. It's just the required distance.
Just kick it out, Jeff. Oh, they're just mucking around with it. Just get rid of it. And
didn't know how to call it. I didn't know what to say.
Get out of your defensive 50. Like, they're just mucking around with little handballs. Just kick it out and relieve the pressure.
It's disposal 21 for Daniel against his old side. It's down the line. The mark claimed by English. Not initially played by the umpire. He said touch. We'll head downstairs. Bob Jones, T-Marts, Rubbo.
Yeah, sub's been made. So Arthur Jones gets his chance. Young O'Donnell with that jaw and blood from his mouth. Obviously a cut in there as well. He hasn't made it. So they've made the sub, Western Bulldogs.
All out of the stoppage. Vandermeer got worked under it. Simpkin, Hemel, Hanson Jr. Well, they're out the front here. Leaking forward, McKercher. Gets it on the left slipper. Oh, no, he checked the kick too late. Bramble. Zerha couldn't stick it. And now Gallagher Steady down the line, but it's chopped off by McDonald. And they'll relaunch from half-back the Roos.
They've just got to play percentages at the moment, the Roos. They need to switch the ball, maintain possession.
Dogs by 13. McDonald down the line to a contest. Darling has somehow won it, stole it from Williams. Kicks towards a dangerous position. They fly. Larky once, twice. Has he paid the mark? Yes. And he's got to line up for a shot at goal as the seconds tick down at three-quarter time. 20 metres out directly in front.
Rory Lobb not happy at all. I think he may have got a fingertip to it, but Larky launched himself at the ball. You can hear the Bronx cheers from the Doggy supporters. Just waiting for the Harvey Norman replay to have a look at it.
What a combination. Can we talk about Jack Darling and Nick Larky? They are going to be a great combination this season.
Hard to believe this guy was under an injury cloud coming in to tonight's game. This for his 5th. And to bring the margin back to 6 points, we've got a game on at Marvel Stadium. At three-quarter time, Larky's 5th have gotten North Melbourne right back into this contest.
Outstanding. I said that he was going to have at least 3 or 4 more left in him. I reckon he's got at least 2 more in this last quarter.
Well, here we go. We're home here. We've got an exciting contest. This is the one you want to be at. Don't go anywhere. A 6-point buffer here to the Dogs at three-quarter time. For McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M rocks footy.
That quarter, the Titanium Caravans. Stay off-road and off-grid for longer with a luxurious Titanium Caravan. Visit titaniumcaravans.com.au.
For McDonald's,
Triple M rocks footy.
the new AFL Happy Meal is here with 18 unique bag clips to collect. Available 10:30am to midnight while stocks last for a limited time only.
One of Triple M's favourite unsung heroes of Aussie rock is hitting the road for another lap around the country. The Super Jesus. Triple M presents the Super Jesus Album Tour, live in Sydney at the Crowbar June 6. Tickets on sale now at thesuperjesus.com.
Relieve nicotine cravings fast with Nicorette Quick Mist. Nicorette Quick Mist Smart Track comes with a behavioural support app so you can track your progress. Help give more power to your willpower. Always read the label and follow the directions for use. Stop smoking aid.
Hello. Frank Walker from National Tiles. The famous National Tiles Spend and Save is on now. Spend $4,000 and we'll only charge you $2,750. Spend $2,000 and we'll only charge you $1,450. Or spend $1,000 and we'll only charge you $750. Yes, the more you spend, the more you save at the National Tiles famous Spend and Save. But you'll have to be quick. So rush into a National Tiles store near you or go online at nationaltiles.com.au now and save.
Win $1,000 for a paid day off, all thanks to Triple M and Solo by MYOB, the new admin app for sole operators, giving you time back and a chance to win a paid day off. Enter on the win page at triplem.com.au. Competition T's and C's apply.
At Woolworths, we're partnering with the Salvation Army to help those communities most affected by recent events in southeast Queensland and northern New South Wales. You can help too by making a donation to the Salvation Army of any amount in our stores or online. 100% of funds raised through Woolworths until March 20 will go directly to the Salvation Army's Cyclone Alfred appeal. For more information, visit salvationarmy.org.au. Woolworths is authorised to fundraise on behalf of the Salvation Army Australia until 13 January 2026.
The Garrett Advancing Motion Sydney Jamboree is at Sydney Dragway today. Australia's fastest flame-throwing drag cars, show cars, traders and free kids rides and face painting. Take the family out today. Tickets at jamboree.com.au.
You know what's local as? Your favourite coffee spot. The neighbour who lends you their mower. And now, your energy provider. At Sumo, we're 100% Aussie owned with a local call centre. So when you need help, you're talking to real people who get what it means to live here. Switching's easy, service is solid, and your power stays sorted. No worries, no drama. Sumo, energy as local as your morning coffee run.
Tooheys and Joonrats, making pubs rock again.
We are Triple M Footy.
Thanks to the reliable Mitsubishi Triton, nothing can frighten a Triton.
Oh, it's a clinic. It's an exhibition of their brilliant best.
Built tough for Aussie conditions. When it comes to water heating, ask your plumber to install a ream.
What about the precision?
It's unbelievable.
Beacon Trade. Let's make life work.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That is sensational.
Triple M Footy.
Shut up! The footy's on Triple M!
Triple M rocks footy.
This quarter for Beacon Trade. Tradies, big jobs, small jobs, tough jobs. Beacon Trade's got the lighting, fans and electrical to get it done. Join up at beacontrade.com.au.
Three-quarter time at Marvel Stadium on the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard. We've got the Dogs 12-7-79, the Roos 10-12-72. Nick Larkey's kicked 5 for the Roos and he's leading the charge up forward. Chris Johnson, Sarah Hosking in the back row for Seabus Super. We've got Jess Webster calling the action with Tim Solly. And down on the boundary we've got Mickey Roberts for Bob Jane T-Mars. Jono, Hosco, what would have been the messages from Bevo and Clarko at that three-quarter time break? Because this is on a knife's edge.
Well, Bevo, I reckon Bevo would have said, you know, we've got to make sure that we get the ball in our hands. We've got to try and intercept mark as well from half-back. That's where they looked their most dangerous in that first term where they kicked 5 goals, and then in the second term as well. And, you know, they're getting the ball forward, but they're unsure whether to do an extra handball, actually kick it forward, where they've got numbers extra forward because there's a defender that is pushing up to the midfield. So I would say that they're saying, be calm. Don't worry, it will come to us, but certainly off half-back, let's keep attacking through the corridor and keep getting in forward really quick.
Let's head downstairs for Bob Jones T-Marts. Buy 3, get 1 free, plus instant cashback on Bridgestone, Yokohama, Kumo and Pirelli. Visit bobjane.com.au today. T's and C's apply. A couple of subs have been activated, Robbo.
Yeah, what have we got? 7 points of difference. And just before three-quarter time, James O'Donnell, young O'Donnell, got a whack in the jaw and the mouth. So he came off. He didn't look groggy, but he looked stunned, and he had blood from the mouth. So they'll check the jaw concussion. He might need some stitches inside because he was bleeding from that. So they made the sub there. So Arthur Jones gets his chance. And then just before the siren, Darcy Tucker warmed up, 150 games. He's got the nod. So they'll be asking, the Northerners have been asking for just a last quarter effort for the 150th. And young Will Phillips has come off. So both subs now for both sides.
It's still 31 degrees down there, Robbo. How's the makeup holding up?
Yeah, well, I got the waterproof stuff on now.
Good.
No, it's not dripping off me. But, it is warm, I tell you what, with the lid on and absolutely no wind, breathless down here. It's actually uncomfortable. So, players are going to be tested and get on with it.
Nice, Robbo. Who's winning from here, Jono? Hosco?
I want North. I think if they can apply their pressure, they were plus 18 on the tackle count that quarter alone, and I think that's what was able to hold their game up there, and then when they converted, North.
I think North look better when they generate one-on-ones inside their forward 50. So if North Melbourne can actually generate one-on-ones in their forward 50 to Larkey, Darling and even Curtis, I think they'll be able to win their one-on-ones and kick goals. On the other hand, I think if the Dogs keep running through the corridor and keep leaning up at half-back, it'll be the Dogs. But I'm going to go with the Kangaroos.
Yeah, and I think for Dogs, they need, like Ed Richards and Tim English, you need to get your big guns, Libba in the middle, make sure that they're the ones that are driving this from the start.
The Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard. Tradies, big jobs, small jobs, tough jobs. Beacon Trade's got the lighting, fans and electrical to get it done. Join up at beacontrade.com.au. Here's Jess Webster to take us away with the final term for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M rocks footy.
The Western Bulldogs with a 7-point lead, but it is North Melbourne with the momentum as we get the last underway. Davies Uniacke had a play out, couldn't take it with him. Picked up by Fraser, sweeping hand pass to Norton, knocked away from him. It spills to Richards, who puts it into the path of Fraser from 45 in front, drills it. A bright start to the Dogs in this final term. They move ahead by 13 points, 13-7-85 to North Melbourne, 10-12-72. How good was that from the young kid?
Yeah, I just like the way that they worked that contest out of from the centre of the ground. They drove it forward. Fraser, it was the way that he stayed on his feet in one of those contests. Luke Davies-Uniacke went to ground. Libba did the hard work, got a little ball out. Fraser follows up in a second effort from Ed Richards, and then just a great finish in front of goal. But again, that's what I was speaking about, Jono. You need this experience coming through just to hit the ground running.
Bob Jones, Tim Arts, Robbo.
Yeah, word out of the Dogs camp. O'Donnell has been cleared from concussion, so it's obviously the jaw that's a bit of a worry for them. So cleared from concussion.
Margin back out to 13 points. Dogs get a goal inside the first minute of this final term. As we're back in the middle for McDonald's and Room Hot Water. Triple M rocks footy. It'll be the Dogs to clear here through Liberatore. Swings onto the left. It's a sidewinder. Trapped. Beautiful hands up. Darcy fires on his left. But he's wobbled it out to the left-hand side and dumped it out on the full. So he won't register a score. It'll remain unchanged. 13-7-85, the Dogs. North Melbourne 10-12-72. That's on the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard. Tradies, big jobs, small jobs, tough jobs. Beacon Trade's got the lighting, fans and electrical to get it done. Join up at beacontrade.com.au.
And for the Dogs to go away and win, they've got to actually win the centre clearances, and they won the last two.
Low from the pocket towards half-back. Darling's hand pass is stolen by Bailey Dale. Roaming half forward, gets around Curtis, and he's run too far. So, Dogs have turned it over, and it'll be Davis Uniac to take the free kick.
You don't see that often, do you? They run too far. Well, they show some good leniency in recent times.
And you don't see someone pulled up running backwards. He was running backwards away from where he was supposed to go, and you never see anyone pulled up for that. The umpires don't measure that.
Sorry, Jono.
You're right.
LDU pokes it short to Sheasel. He's got it on the logo. Dockside wing, called to play on. Directs his kick to half forward. Sherry the target as English lost his feet. And Sherry's marked 55 out from goal at right half forward.
Get it in quick. You got one-on-one, top of the square.
Larky's kicked 5. You just pop it there, don't you, Jono?
Exactly.
He does it now. Larky gets a run and jump. It was on his head, and then Spore came. And it bounces sideways, out of bounds next to the behind post. Just too slow there, Jono.
Yeah, Jono, you mentioned it earlier. Stop looking at me like that. They're just way too slow getting the ball in.
You're right, Sarah, they are.
Can we get a camera clip of that? Because the way that Jono was just looking at me, it was ridiculous.
It is warm. I think Jono's lost the plot.
Not just because of the weather.
It's a 50. Archer did well to work Vandermeer off the ball, but Vandermeer bobs up. Handballs it to Darcy, who weaves his way through the traffic. Then pops a high one in the path of Kennedy.
Well done.
The ex-blue, the Spore came Daniel. He was undersized. It's socket off the deck, though. In the path of McNeil. Runs into an open goal. And slots it home. The first two majors of this final term go the way of the Dogs. And they're 14-7-91. North Melbourne 10-12-72. It's a 19-point buffer to the way of the Bulldogs on the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
Well, it was from the mistakes there done at the North Melbourne at centre half back. It was terrible. It was misconfusing by Sarah's now looking at me weirdly as well. It was the mistake there by two young fellas where one thought the other one was going to go, and then the Dogs just took the ball away and kicked the goal. I'm off the plot now.
I just want to remind you guys, it is radio, but we do have cameras in the box now, so all these weird glances might be...
I'm scared to look over my shoulder.
I flipped my eyelids inside out, just for context.
Let's go. Dogs by 19, back in the middle we go. Would love a clearance here. She's working hard, harassed by Richards. He harassed him illegally. And Sheasel will take the free kick for a hold. Kicks it out to the city side wing. Finds Tucker, the sub. He's on for his 150th. And chips it short to Powell, who's marked on the logo on the wing. Again, some slow play by North as he kicks laterally to Archer.
Not bad this by North Osco, just to suck a bit of oxygen out. A couple of goals to the Dogs. They're trying to wrest momentum here. It's McDonald. High ball up to the 50. Numbers with North. Ball falls out the back. Now Dale. Little pokey one. Dolan. Handball's out in the path of... Who's we got here? Jones, is it? Goes right foot ball down the line. Taken by Kennedy. 60 from home. Wills back on the left. Non-preferred. But spits it in the path of Norton, who pulls down the mark 30 from home.
Yeah, that was outstanding. Just that transition as well. Kennedy, his ability to turn his player inside out, roll onto that left foot that drew him back in towards the corridor, which just meant that he was able to lace it out. And Norton now has a shot on goal. But again, we've spoken about the way that they transition the Bulldogs. They've done it now 3 times.
Opens up the goal mouth, Norton. Loved it off the boot. Curled it back in the dead middle, and he's got his third. The first three majors of this final term go the way of the Dogs. 15-7, 97. Kangaroos 10-12-72. That's on the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
Well, that's how they moved the ball in the first term and in the first half. The Dogs, they're very, very clean, and they're good decision makers when they're outnumbered off half forward, off half back, and they were able to do that and they're able to go through their midfield and actually get the ball over. They already had an outnumber forward, and they just needed to make sure that the forwards led to different areas, and they did. They separated, they isolated each other, and that's the way they got their shot on goal.
So what does Alex de Clarkson's team upstairs do now? They've kicked the first three here, the Dogs. They lead by 25. What's the messages going out on the ground?
Well, you've got to go back to, you've got to win the clearance. You've got to win centre clearance, around the ground clearance, and actually keep taking the ball on and keep taking this game on.
Simkin knocks it forward to Davies Uniacke, hand passes over his head, looking for Sherry. Plenty of Dogs around the footy. And we're going to have a ball up centre half forward for North Melbourne.
And isolate forward. If you can get it in forward with a one-on-one scenario, get it in. Because every time they've done that, North Melbourne, they've actually got the mark or brought it to ground and had a shot on goal.
English wins the tap against Sherry. Ball spills out the way of English, who paddles it forward only as far as Parker. West over the top of him, steals the footy. And can't get a clean takeaway. And they've got a ball up inside the centre square. Dogs by 25.
Can they respond here, North Melbourne? They've been gallant all night. They've been put to the sword at the moment. Hurried kick out of the stoppage. Numbers here with North. Daniel did well against his old side. Just gave a little bump there on McNeil, and the ball's sideways and out of bounds. Umpire says toss it in.
And he was actually in the stoppage there, and he actually worked it out pretty early that the Dogs were going to win the ball, and he actually got back and helped out and support his defence. His man went into the stoppage. He then zoned off and got across and killed that ball.
So the ball spins back in. Sherry just bumps English off as easy as you like. Out the back, Bramble. Little 1-2 with Dale. Now he got it to Gallagher. Loads up. Long drop punt. Where's the tall timber? Darcy couldn't reel it in on the second bite of the cherry. Swooping, going low and hard. Well tackled. The pressure laid. Oh, it comes out the back. Norton picks up. His handball's taken. No free coming. Daniel. He's accosted by Harms. Umpire hovered, but then says, I'll have it. 20 out here from the Dogs' goal. They're surging hard here, and they're leading by 25.
Cherry in front position, knocks it down. A blind kick out of the pack from Parker. Over the head of Gallagher. Now in pursuit. Alongside him is Constanti. Taps it to Larkey. He's tackled to the ground by Lobb. Ball spills loose. Picked up by Scott of North Melbourne. From the wing, has a bounce, has a couple of bounces in front of the interchange gates. Make it 3 bounces. He gets the kick away, sends him inside forward. 50 Curtis, hands to it, he's got the mark. 40 metres out, 45-degree angle to the right.
Well, that's what happens when North Melbourne have the ability to try and hit those targets inside 50. Jono, you spoke about it. They worked the ball down. Again, actually got their hands on it, took the marks, played their way through, but it was a nice kick inside 50, and well done to Curtis, though, because he had 2 to beat there, worked his way off his opponent.
Career high 30 goals last year. His team need this, and Curtis provides. They're still in it, North Melbourne. They're back to within 19 points. Western Bulldogs 15-7, 97 to North Melbourne 11-12, 78.
Jacob Constanti, he was actually fantastic on that halfback flank as well. He had 2 efforts. He was actually out of the contest. He got in, took the body out, won the contest, put it on the Larkey, then actually came back to him, and he actually kept that ball alive and won that contest. Outstanding by the Kangaroos. They need to keep going as well. So they can't just rest on their laurels here. They need to make sure that they can get this centre clearance. What are we? We've got about 14 minutes to go. They need to get a couple of inside forward 50s and isolate their forwards.
Bob Jones, Marks, Robbo.
Yeah, still in it, but Larkey's come off, cramped badly, stiff-legged. So he's down here being worked on. And Griffin Lowe, too, he came off with cramp, but I reckon it's more that I think there's something sinister there. I think it's more than that. So they're 2 down.
Back in the middle for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M Rocks footy. Sherry slapped it out into the path there of Parker, and his first hit out is Aru. It bounces around off a couple of sets of legs, and then a ball jammed forward for the Dogs. Norton slapped it out for Vandermeer front and centre. Sanders arches the back, pins back the ears, and slides home the major. Just when the Roos got a sniff, Sanders closes the door again. 16-7-103. North Melbourne 11-12-78. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
Well, he's kicked his second goal of his career and his second goal tonight, Sanders. Outstanding there by Riley Sanders to go through. And the Dogs are so good inside and good to receive, get handballs received. 3 handballs received leading up to that one before Sanders actually kicked the goal. The Kangaroos just need to tighten up and actually win the ball at the source, because at the source at the moment, the Dogs are winning the ball and they're taking it away, and then the Kangaroos are left chasing tail. So they've got to win the ball at the source, as they did in the first 3 quarters.
The McDonald's and Ream Hot Water Triple M rocks footy. Sherry from the middle, decisive tap down to Davies-Uniacke, slips a couple of tackles in a 1-2 with Sherry. Davies-Uniacke from the centre square into the inside forward 50, has found Curtis again.
Again, Curtis just being able to find a lot of space at the moment. If it wasn't when he had his opponent before and using the bodywork to work off him, he was all on his own here, but that's how good he is as a small forward, just being able to be evasive.
Kicked a crucial goal just a couple of minutes ago. His side hanging in there. Curtis kicks back-to-back goals for the Roos. And it's a 19-point margin halfway through this final term. Western Bulldogs 16-7-103 to North Melbourne 12-12-84.
Well, that was an important one for North Melbourne as well, but again, that centre bounce, it was Luke Davies-Uniacke who's just come straight out. What he could have done is ran another 10-20 metres if he wanted to and probably had a shot on goal. But again, just the composure to be able to lower his eyes and find Curtis, who was running away from his opponent in Dale. And again, a really great kick inside 50 from LDU.
He's a spot-on set shot on goal too,
yeah,
Curtis.
Nice.
Really nice flowing.
Good pendulum.
Yep, very nice.
He hadn't had a big night until this last term. He's kicked a couple. Larky's got 5. Margin back to 19 points. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard as we're back in the middle for McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M rocks footy. Important clearance to win. Libber bumped off it. And then handballs into the path of Fraser, who lowers the eyes inside 50, puts it in the path of McNeil. Jackson Archer did well, broke the tackle, handballed it out the back door. And now O'Sullivan can't keep it in the field of play, out of bounds, 45 around from North Melbourne's goal. They get a look here.
And I don't understand why call handball that ball. You should have just done a dump kick down the line, get it about 30, 40 metres outside your defensive 50.
Umpire flicks the ball back in a play. Darcy against Sherry and Ruck. McKercher hands to it, couldn't take it cleanly. Jones handles out to Fraser, shares it with Sanders, roaming the top of 50, sends it in the Norton direction, got elevation, couldn't come down with a mark. Dolan's hand pass stolen by Combat. He couldn't find a target. Dogs working hard. Vandermeer, hand pass to Duray, stripped to the footy, no free kick. They all dive on top of it. Umpire calls for it. We've got a ball up 30 metres out from the Dogs' goal.
It was a huge contest from Aaron Norton. Just looking at the Harvey Norman replay, he's got right on the top of the shoulders of Jackson Archer, but again, quite the hard landing on the way down, and Archer seems to be a little bit dusty getting up.
So Duray coming from the ground. Mickey Roberts will be all over that for Bob Jane team. Let's go Harvey Norman up 20% off Acer and Lenovo computers in store and online now. Harvey Norman, best range, best brands, best prices guaranteed. Robbo, you all over this one with Duray coming to the bench.
Yeah, he's holding his head. Whether there's blood from the head, we don't know, but he is a tough man, Duray. So it would take a lot to knock him around, so they're going to have a good look at it. Yeah, looking through the hairline. Could be some blood.
Fraser through the legs, got it out to Richards, who snaps around his right shoulder. And it goes across the face of goal and bounces out of bounds next to the right behind post. So still deep in attack here for the Dogs. 16-7-103. Leading North Melbourne 12-12-84. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
It'll be Darcy and Sherry again in ruck. Sherry in front position. Darcy tried to take it out of the ruck. Sherry goes in, farms it out. McKercher had to play at it, couldn't take it with him. Dogs through Norton, looking for Dale as he pushed in the back by Darling. Umpire said no. Parker on his hands and knees, Feeds out the hand pass only as far as lobbed. Is it to Dale? Was it caught high? Yes. Free kick to Bailey Dale at right half forward, 55 from home.
Disappointing as well from Jack Darling there. Just again, a little bit careless, a free kick there. Again, Bailey Dale's now 60 metres out, but it's a perfect spot for them to be able to hit up another target.
He sends this one in the pocket. Norton flies and Norton clucks. Pulls it down deep in the right forward pocket. And he'll go back here, Norton, to kick his fourth.
Yeah, it's just at the moment the Kangaroos are probably not on, because of the heat and everything else, not on their 100% in terms of their intensity and actually being accountable for their opponents. But, geez, this boy, he can play. He took a massive fly earlier.
He squares up his body, snaps, and he misses to the near side. Too skinny, this one from Norton.
Good to see a lot of players taking his leaf out of his book too, Timmy. We're in the headbands.
Yes, you like that too,
yeah.
Camden McIntosh on Thursday night, you like that?
Yeah.
When you got no hair, you wear the headband.
No hair, yeah, so the sweat doesn't go in your eyes. Yes, I understand that.
Good.
Daniel from the kick in, skies it to half back, but Darcy had his name written all over it. Takes the grab, sends it directly to full forward in the Norton direction again. Knocked away from him, close to the goal line. Has that come off the leg of Comben? Umpire says no, let's toss it back in.
Timmy, your favourite player that wore a headband?
Favourite player?
Brucey Gould.
Brucey Gould.
The flying door. Yeah, the flying doormat.
The flying doormat from Takana Football Club.
Not many have wore the headband. Bailey Smith wearing the headband now at Geelong. Got 32 touches today in his first hit out.
That was huge, wasn't it?
Big day for Geelong. Got up by 78 points over Fremantle. And last year's grand final replay. Lions and Swans. Lions got the job done by forward. Davidson takes the mark. It wasn't 15, so he jams it on the boot. Coleman should have gone the mark. Went the spoil. Vandermeer dishes off to McNeil on his left. Clinical footy here from the Bulldogs in the final term. McNeil's got 2 in this final quarter. And the Dogs 17-8, 110. Leading the North Melbourne 12-12-84 Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
Charlie Conbert, if you had your time again, son, you would have taken that with both hands and not just spoiled it on your own, because you just spoiled it straight back to about 3 or 4 dogs and they were able to work it out. And this is the smarts of these Western Bulldogs players, that they're able to actually work it out and work out scenarios. So everything that you train in pre-season, it actually comes to the fore here on round 1, and that there was an outnumber. They had an opposition on the other side. They released his teammate out in McNeil on the outside, and I think it's his second goal for the night as well. So, and actually in the quarter.
For Bob Jane T-Mart's down to Robbo on the boundary.
Yeah, Duray out of the rooms, had a nick in the head, so they stitched him up. Larky drunk a litre of that pickle juice. He's back out there now. But I tell you what, Griffin Lowe could be done for the night.
The Roos out of the middle via Simpkin. Couldn't find a target inside 50. Ball ricochets back in his direction. Couldn't find a target by hand. Picked up by Powell. Trying to find McKercher. Has some work to do. Backtracks by hand to O'Sullivan. The debutant takes on Sanders. Pokes the kick to half forward and finds Powell. A couple of kicks from goal. Quick to play on the right. Bangs it to the teeth of goal. They need a mark. It's off hands out the back. Harms is there. Oh, Curtis got a hand in there. They threw his boot at it. Is that a goal? He's claiming it. The goal umpire's paying it. And that's his third in this final quarter. Single-handedly keeping North Melbourne in it. Western Bulldogs 17-8, 110. North Melbourne 13-12-90.
How good was that from Curtis? It was a great deep kick inside 50 and then got to the top of the goal square. The Harms had the ball. He's tried to get the handball away, and Curtis has just put a little bit of that evasive pressure, popped the hands up. He's in a little arm tussle with Harms, and he's just managed to get the ball. I think it almost looks a little bit accidental to me, John. I don't know about you, but he is.
Straight down.
Quick little leg flick, come off his shin.
Come off his shin, then his foot.
But that's his third goal for the day as well. Now you have a look at North Melbourne. So the only 2 multiple goal kickers they've had is Nick Larkey with 5 and Paul Curtis with 3, whereas Western Bulldogs have had at least 5 multiple goal scorers. So just their ability to be able to score across different facets of the game too.
McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M Rocks footy. Awkward bounce by the umpire will be recalled. Choice hotels around the grounds, Hosco.
You've done it to me again just as soon as the score disappears. Right as we go, Collingwood 124 to Port Adelaide 41 with 9 minutes to go in the last quarter.
Bloodbath as Bulldogs go forward again. Core got in the front spot against Dolan. And a right hand spalls it out of bounds, 30 around from the Dogs' goal. It seems like when North Melbourne get a goal, the Bulldogs have always got the answer. Can they hold up here in defence? The next goal will make it interesting. We've just ticked into time on in this final term as Sherry slaps it out in front. Davison on debut. He's happy to see this out of bounds. 60 around from the Dogs' goal.
So the Dogs have got one spare behind the ball at the moment, which is Lob, as well as who else is out there? There's one other out there. I think it's Stu Ray as well. So they're sort of just leaking off Larky at the moment. So they need to make sure that they round him up.
Ball in at half forward for the Dogs. Sheasel from the stoppage has coughed it up. Richards blind kick around the corner, a high one. Here comes Norton. Couldn't bring it down. They scrap for it inside forward 50. It spills to English. Is that a clean disposal? The umpire gives him the benefit of the doubt. It's stolen by Tucker. He's tackled immediately, and we've got a ball up 40 metres out from the Western Bulldogs goal.
It's always a worry where you can see the opposition's spare man, but you can't see yours. The North Melbourne spare man's actually in the stoppage at the moment, and you can't identify him.
Sherry boundary sided, shark by West, who wobbles one. Oh, it almost went the journey. Archer fisted through for a minor score. 17-9, 111. North Melbourne 13-12, 90. 21-point buffer here to the Dogs. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard. Don't forget, built tough for Aussie conditions. When it comes to water heating, ask your plumber to install a room.
Jono, you have a look at the clearance difference just in this quarter alone. Western Bulldogs have been down for the whole game. This quarter, they're already +8 in clearances.
Well, they've changed that around, haven't
Yep.
they? They've been able to get on top. They scored the first 3 goals of this quarter through clearances as well.
Ball up at half forward for the Dogs. West trying to find Sanders by hand. Simpkin right there. Davidson had a play out it, couldn't take it with him, and then he pushes Simpkin over the line as the ball trickles over. And we've got a ball in, right half forward for the Western Bulldogs. Led by 23 at quarter time, 10 at half time, 7 at 3/4 time, but have owned this last quarter. And time now becoming the enemy for the Roos.
So the ball spins back into play on the outer side. English and Sherry muscle their way. As Sanders smitten a heavy gang tackle. Curtis defending here at left half back now. So who can stand up in these final minutes? Sherry belts at goal side. Davison been impressive on debut. He's held up in a tackle by Simpkin. So how do they roll the dice here, Jono? What do they do, North Melbourne? Is it just attack and run and gun?
Yeah, and they've got to win clearance. They've got to win clearance, and they can't actually have a spare man behind the ball. They can't allow that. They've got to go equal numbers all over the ground and maybe change direction.
And they're doing that right now. They won the clearance and changed direction in the same motion. Core. He finds a man in Phillips who drives long on the left. Larky, the target, had to sit and wait. Ball spills to the back. Zerha from the pocket. Squares the ball up. But Davison, who was on the wing moments ago, gets back and saves the day on the last line.
That was good by Zerha. Just tried to square the ball up. Probably needed to put a little bit more height on it and sit it at the top of the square rather than on the other side of the fat side.
Dogs by 21, time on to the final quarter. Davidson kicks out wide, but it's coming back. Sherry takes the intercept grab. A couple of kicks from goal at left half forward. Dishes it off by hand to O'Sullivan, the debutant, to a pack inside forward 50. Larky hands to it, no mark. Darling is there. Trying to find Larky by hand. Gets it out somehow to Parker, the veteran. Shoots towards goal. It's missing near side. Margin 20 points.
Oof. That was the one they wanted. Just over 7 minutes left in this one. As Jess Webster just said, 20-point margin here to the Dogs. Frazier taking his moments here. Just waltzes his way out of the square and then spits one wide to Bailey Williams in the right back pocket. They're just happy to soak up precious seconds here, the Western Bulldogs. As Williams, long and strong down the line now, but Sherry stands tall. Oh, that's an awkward ruckman kind of a kick. Scott got the handball out, Sheasel. And now Archer, low, flat, laser beam. Larky couldn't quite reel it in. Lob kept his feet. He handballs it out in the grass. Oh, no! Huge collision. Oh, that might be a knee here for Archer. He's clutching the right knee. And we've got a Bulldog on the ground.
It's Cleary.
Unmoved Cleary. In his 8th game of AFL footy, his courage was there, and it can't be questioned.
No, it certainly can't. Had one Bulldog, 3 North Melbourne players going at the ball. It almost was one of those pushes in the back. That's devastating. And it was almost like a car accident going wrong, wasn't it?
It was. It's quite horrific scenes at the moment. They've called for the stretcher straight away, so...
He's moving, which is positive.
He's moving his head. I think they're telling him to stay still. Bevo's looking anxious. He's rushing out of the box.
I think it'll be one of those ones where they won't show the replay.
They probably won't show the Triple M Harvey Norman replay on this instance, you're right, Jess. So there's a bit of a lull across the crowd here. You never like to see that. I might check in with Robbo, Bob Jones, 2 months.
Yeah, it's amazing how both camps actually work together. The physios, the doctors, just working exactly what is going on. They've told him not to move. The AFL are involved as well. Archer's coming from the ground. How gutsy is Archer, that kid there? He's been able to get mobile and whatever. They're going to look at that knee and the clash, but it's all about Luke Cleary. The fact that the stretcher is out now, and there's a lot of pain in both sides, but Cleary's the main objective with regards to being looked after, and they'll get him on the stretcher and looked after by emergency services. But it was right in front of us. You could hear it, you could see it, and it was a car crash.
And Bevo's just made his way down on the ground. You see him, he's very animated.
He is, concerned for his player, the coach. Actually, he is quite concerned. So, as you said, you see these things in footy. If you're close and it gets smacked like that, the crowd around us is quite stunned. It's a tough caper, isn't it? Seriously, when 2 kids are going it flat out at high speed, there's going to be a collision, and that's exactly what happened. So let's fingers crossed for young Cleary.
Well, the positive thing is that he's moving and he's not sort of out of it at the moment. So, and they've got everyone out there at the moment. They've got all doctors, all medical staff. They've got the stretcher out there. They've got the little golf cart out there as well. They're ready to take him off. So that's the positive thing, that he's moving. And what a lot of people, that step across that white line have got to actually you've got to take their hat off to him. So the courageous acts that you've got to do in a game of football, and that was one right there. Had his eyes for the ball completely. Both young fellas had their eyes for the ball, both at the same time, and both attacked it.
And the good news is Jackson Archer is on the bench. His knee does look okay. An immediate impact with Archer's knee on the head of Luke Cleary. These are the dangers of a 360-degree game, Oscar.
Absolutely, and again, as we mentioned, the contest itself, both players were coming from opposite directions, sort of in that head-on kind of way. So I guess that's the hard part, is especially when you're so determined to get the ball as well. You're going 100 miles an hour, and hopefully he's okay. As we mentioned, he is moving around now, looks like he is talking to the doctors and in safe hands as well. But the game we play, that it is, unfortunately, sometimes it comes at a cost that, it's a competitive game, it's a contact game, and as you hear now, you can start to hear the crowd clapping as the doctors and medical staff start to put Cleary on to the stretcher and is about to get onto the cart to head off, as all Western Bulldogs players get around to him as well.
Let's head back down to Robbo for Bob Jones, 2 months.
Yeah, you got the skipper Simpkin around young Archer here right in front of me. So, as I said, he is a tough kid. That's all he knows. His old man did exactly the same thing. And then the fact that the Bulldogs know that this was something that happened at such high speed, the courage, the guts of these kids at high speed in the modern game is exceptional. That's why he's getting the applause. That's why he got the salute from his teammates. Tremendous effort from both players.
He's giving the double thumbs up on the Medicab as he departs from the ground. So he's in the best of hands here, and I'm sure he will bounce back from this. We never like to see it in our fantastic game, but it is one of the risks we take. But he gave us the 2 thumbs up. As we watch here on the Harvey Norman, his head got caught under the knees there of Archer. He was coming the other way, and there was immediate concern from players from the other side as they signalled to the bench. So well played on all parts from both sides. No malice in that at all. And I'm sure he'll bounce back from this. So we'll reset here at half-back. 6.5 minutes left in this final term. It's the Bulldogs 17-911, North Melbourne 13-13-91.
Lob to take the free kick at left half-back, sends it to a pack on the wing. Darcy in the pack, off hands. Tracking into O'Sullivan, worried out of it by Norton. Underground handball, looking for Sanders. Couldn't take it with him. Davies Uniacke then stripped to the footy by Sanders. Umpire called play on. How did Davies Uniacke keep that in? Somehow find a teammate. No, we're going to take it back. That was unfortunate.
So who called that? Must have been. Wasn't the direct umpire, it was the off?
I think, it might have been the non-officiating umpires called holding the ball against Davies Uniacke.
And the officiating umpire said no. Said play on, did he?
Watch here on the Harvey Norman. It's picked up. It kind of had it. Sanders in the tackle. Came loose, dropped to the turf, so it must have been called at that moment. So Sanders goes inside 50 here. The nest forms. Ball falls to the back, and it's tumbling. Put through for a minor score on this occasion. Bulldogs 17-10, 112. North Melbourne 13-13-91. Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
Dogs can't clear it from the kick-in. Jones takes possession. He's wrapped up by Scott and will have a ball up at right half forward for the Dogs. Lead by 21. 5 goals to 3 in this final term, the way of the Western Bulldogs. From the ball up, no winner from that. We'll do it all again as Richards can't break free.
Choice hotels around the grounds. I'll go quickly.
It is an absolute bloodbath at the MCG. Collingwood 136, Port Adelaide 45 with 1:33 to go.
None of us saw that coming after what we saw from Collingwood last week against the Giants. They have bounced back in a big way. We have a stoppage here at right half forward for the Dogs. English in the ruck against Sherry. Came out Sanders. It's been serviceable tonight. High ball inside 50. Darcy flew. Common took the mark. Play on, says the umpire. They'll share it around by hand as Common, almost mown down by Vandermeer, got the kick away. It's over the head of Lob. And now Fraser. Loopy handball wide. Dale twisting, turning, and he spits a low one, and he finds Duray.
He kicks in the Harms direction. Beautifully weighted kick as Harms marks. 51 metres out from goal, close to the boundary line. One more you think would seal it for the Dogs. Harms to the pocket. Sherry rises high and takes the intercept grab and clutches for his leg. It might be cramped.
He's been shot by a sniper.
Everyone has been. Quick to hand it off to Sheasel.
Who else is cramping?
The last line of defence. Needs to hit a target, goes in the Darling direction. That's a one-on-one battle. You'd favour Darling in as he takes the mark over Duray.
Seriously outsized there as Darling gets it on the right slipper. Larkey the target. Ball off a couple of sets of hands. Constanti there. Parker slides in with his snout over it as always. Hanson Jr. had it knocked away. Harms. Tired bodies everywhere. It's locked in again by Darling. He's still working hard, the big man. We'll have a toss-up on this broadcast wing. 4.5 left final term.
And slightly concerning a little bit, Comben comes off the ground at the moment. He looked to be in a little bit of discomfort for the last 30 seconds down, wing down back. So we'll stay tuned and we might hear from Mickey Roberts shortly.
From the stoppage, Sheasel kicks it towards half forward. Lobbs copped a free kick. Copped a free kick. I think he copped high contact and gets the free kick.
We knew what you meant, Chris.
Left half back for the Dogs. They'll be happy to waste some time off the clock now. 4 minutes of game time left and they lead by 21 points. Lob down the line. English the target against Sherry. Ball close to the line. It's over and out. We'll have a throw in right in front of the 2 benches here at Marvel Stadium.
So, dying minutes here. There's been some oxygen sucked out of the game since that collision between Cleary and Archer. We're in neutral territory on this broadcast side. The ball's tossed back in. English gets to the front and Sherry just outsizes him. From a standing start, sends it up the chimney. Going with the flight of the ball. Good mark, Davies Uniacke.
Smart there by Simpkin there. Just got the run of Dale. Just so Davies Uniacke could mark that ball. That was clever.
19th touch for him. It's up inside 50. Larkey still working hard. The ground level Fraser, Liberatore, Harms. Kicked it into his teammates. And now they'll clear the area. Fraser outside 50. Darcy, well done. Climbed in front of Sherry and scored out of bounds in front of Mickey Roberts. So, Jono, Hosco, who's got the votes out of you two today?
We said collective.
We'll
vote,
do a
and Jono's
collective.
going to take the cake, I think. Yeah, we'll do it together.
Don't give them yet. We'll get them from you at the end of the game.
Can give you a little bit of an insight into who's been playing well so far. I'll come back to you in a second.
The Dogs win the clearance. Liberatore along the boundary line and kicks it up towards half forward. That's nicely read, and a good mark taken by Archer over West. Kicks backwards to Core in the right back pocket for North Melbourne. Kicks it back to Archer, top of the defensive goal square. Call to play on, not the required distance. Has to get a kick away, and it's a good one. Finds McDonald still inside defensive 50, and that's going to be a 50-metre penalty for encroachment on the mark. McDonald has marched to halfway and hits Simpkin at centre-half forward.
Simpkin, he's got a man out in the open side in Davies Uniac. As easy as a lie, pulls down the mark 35 from home.
Well, they've looked dangerous all night when they've come through the middle, and that's what they did there. They got the 50-metre penalty. They worked it from back line, all the way from full back, all the way up through the middle of the ground, and then beautiful delivery there by Luke McDonald.
So Davies Uniac kick one in the third term. This one on its way. He's hit it pretty well. He likes it. Consolation prize here for North Melbourne. Davies Uniac gets his second. They're 13-13-91. The Dogs 17-10, 112. It's all on the Triple M Beacon Trade scoreboard.
And again, it's just a little bit disappointing for North Melbourne. As we mentioned, they had some real momentum in that second and third quarter in particular and kept the game in their hands. But again, Doggies with their quick couple of goals early on in this quarter, and the domination early is what's really stopped them. But they have, Jono, what I have liked is they've seen a few glimpses when they are taking the game on through the corridor. They have been quite strong tonight in patches.
In full time at the MCG, Hosco, Choice Hotels around the grounds.
It is indeed. Collingwood, absolute whopping Port Adelaide, 136-45. Timmy Membry on debut for Collingwood kicks the 4 goals, and it was Dan Houston as well with 27 disposals.
Unfortunately, the biggest loss under Ken Hinkley as well for Port Adelaide.
I don't like that for Ken.
No. From the middle, North Melbourne send it forward, but they've turned it over as Fraser takes the intercept grab and just calls for a bit of calm. Happy to waste some seconds now, less than 2 minutes to play. And they're headed for a round 1 win here, the Dogs. It's Fraser, kick short to Williams.
We've got Collingwood next week, Jono, Western Bulldogs. How do you see that matchup after the results tonight?
Yeah, look, one's had a real battle here tonight. Like, they haven't really looked convincing tonight in terms of their win. At various times they have, but then Collingwood, obviously from this performance, looked very convincing, and I think Collingwood will probably beat the Dogs.
Norton inside 50 through the hands of Kennedy, the ex-Blue. And now let's look at North Melbourne next Saturday. They will take on Fremantle here at Marvel Stadium. Attendance has just come up on the screen, 34,406. So a serviceable crowd here for this one. Do you give North Melbourne a chance next week against the Dockers here at home?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that, another game. Well, they've been pretty good tonight. They just lacked certain times when they didn't actually, sort of knuckle down and get the bolts in.
Dale snapping from 49 metres out. It's going to go right to the line, but it's missing through for a behind. And as the Western Bulldogs lead by 16 points. Late stages here, final term, Marvel Stadium.
Was Jess Webster making her official debut tonight. She was all 2025. She's pulled the socks off it. It's great to have her here as part of our team. It's getting stronger and stronger every year as the ball's off hands. Fraser on the Toyota logo, broadcast wing. His handball cut off Simpkin. Scott gives it back to Simpkin. Constanti runs to 70, lowers the eyes. Oh no, lucky! He's had it chopped off by Zerha.
He's not happy too.
Oh, it was going straight to him on a silver platter, and Zerha said, "No, sir, I'm cutting that off."
I wouldn't be happy about that either, because Nick Larkey as well tonight has kicked 5 goals, 1. Zerha is currently 1 goal, 4.
Oh no!
And make that doesn't even register a bloody score.
Tight legs. He's hung that way out to the right. It's missed by about 10 metres. So Larkey will remind him of that after the game. Dying seconds here at Marvel Stadium. It's been an entertaining contest. There's only 7 points at 3/4 time. But the Dogs have got some bites. They kick off their 2025 season in style. 17-11, 113 to 14-13, 97.
And Bulldogs roar, we give our very best. But you can't beat the boys of the Bulldog breed. We're the team of the mighty West.
So no Bontempelli, no Trelaw, no Liam Jones, no Cody Waitman. But the young kids rise up here for the Dogs and they get a convincing win here at Marvel Stadium. Winners in the end by 16 points. Jono, positive signs for North Melbourne, but the Doggies just too strong.
Yeah, they certainly were. There was times that the Roos got to 4 points, got very, very close to the Kangaroos, but they just couldn't close it out. There's various stages through the games that they just have brain explosion in the Kangaroos. They'll hem that in through in the next couple of games as well, when they've got to go fast or when they've got to go slow, and when they're actually in. So when they were 4 points within the Dogs, they actually needed to calm down a bit and just play percentages.
Let's head down to the boundary and get the interview. Ed Richards is with Ruby Schleicher for Fox Footy.
Bloody hot under here, so I think we handled the conditions pretty well. It was obviously pretty bumbly, pretty greasy from both ends, but yeah, it was good to get the chocolates in the end for sure.
A great win marred by that collision for Luke Cleary. Obviously really difficult to see a teammate go down in that fashion.
Yeah, he looked in not a great way, so hopefully he's all right. We'll get around him next week. So, pretty scary stuff towards the end, but hopefully he's okay.
Your game style, you look to just really expose the Roos with your chains from D50 to inside 50. Is that something that you really focused on and went to work on, knowing you could expose them in that way during the week?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we were pretty good at it last year, just being able to transition the ball. We got obviously some great talent in our back end. Bailey Dale was obviously complicit in that tonight. He was really good. Lockie Bramble as well. So those boys really kickstarted our movement. But honestly, credit to the Roos. They were great with their pressure, put us under a lot of heat, and we weren't able to get as much clean ball as we would have liked going inside 50. And then, it ended up being a tight contest.
A lot of key players out for you guys tonight. It must be so promising to see the depth that you guys have and that you're able to get the job done. Yeah, it is promising. I think a lot of people wrote us off when Bont went down, so it's good we were able to stand up and show people that we've got good depth, we've got some good young talent, and we're ready to go for this year. For you, you've continued your incredible form from last season. 30 disposals and a goal tonight. What did you go to work on in the off-season to make sure you came in ready to go?
Just my contest work, really. Just getting better around stoppage, trying to help, Libbo and Bonty when he's in there. We obviously got Matty Kennedy as well tonight, Riley Sanders. So I think the boys did a really good job around the ball. We probably weren't as strong around the contest as we would have liked, so we'll go to school on that. But it was all in all good 4 points.
Big stage next Friday night, Pies at the G. How do you prepare for that one?
Massive game. I mean, 100-year celebration. We're bloody keen for it. So being able to play a home game at the G, doesn't really come around that often for us. So we're really excited and we'll prepare as normal, and hopefully we can get a win in front of a home crowd at the G.
Ed, well done. Go enjoy the win.
Thanks, thank you.
Ed Richards, boundary side there with Ruby Schleicher, courtesy of Fox Footy. It was the Dogs by 16 points here in round one over North Melbourne. We'll be back to break this one all apart in the Triple M Amy Review. We'll have the Triple MVP Award. We'll have the Macca's I'm Loving It moment. It's all coming up on the other side of this break. Thanks to McDonald's and Ream Hot Water. Triple M rocks footy.
That quarter for Beacon Trade. Tradies, big jobs, small jobs, tough jobs. Beacon Trade's got the lighting, fans and electrical to get it done. Join up at beacontrade.com.au.
For Ream Hot Water,
Triple M rocks footy.
Built tough for Aussie conditions. When it comes to water heating, ask your plumber to install a Ream.
The NRL is back for another year, and at the risk of offending you by suggesting that maybe you've put on a few pounds since the last season and you need a new jersey because it doesn't fit, we're giving away $250 to spend in the NRL store. Doesn't have to be for a jersey. Maybe they sell cake icing in your team's colours. No, that's mean. Sorry, we'll stop. We're also giving away a Triple M beanie, and now you think we're making fun of your hairline. Great. Look, $250 to spend in the NRL store and a Triple M beanie up for grabs this week in the Triple M Club. Sign up at triplem.com.au.
Jump on the bandwagon and taste the new CC's 4 and 20 flavours. You can't say no.
Time now for some more hot date.
At Wild Bean Cafe, you'll get delicious golden chicken bites for only $1 each. You'll love them, but be quick. Everyone else will love them too. Available at participating BP stores. Drives you cravey.
Hot dates.
Inside Vacations offers small group tour options delivering carefully curated experiences, dining with locals and high-end stays. Book yours at insidevacations.com.au or contact your local travel agent.
Hot dates. Pencil them in.
Enjoy summer knowing your home is covered with Allianz. Winner of 2024 CanStar's Outstanding Value for both home and home and contents insurance. Allianz. Conditions apply. Before buying, read the PDS and TMD on our website.
Why do millions of Australians use Instant Scripts for their healthcare needs?
Being able to talk to an Instant Scripts doctor anytime, day or night, helps us feel better already.
Requesting a medical certificate is easy.
Getting my script tonight is so simple. Over 2 million Australians have turned to Instant Scripts for their healthcare needs. Our doctors are here for you 24/7. Visit us online at instantscripts.com.au. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Tradies, get great trade value with AEG Power Tools. Buy any combo kit over $350 and get an instant battery bonus in store. And if the combo kit has a redemption on it, you'll get that too. Available only at Bunnings. T's apply. AEG trade value. It's great.
New Zealand holidays are on sale and everyone must go. Of course, it's up to you. But if you like going up mountains or downtime, screaming your lungs out, or inhaling pristine air, leaving your comfort zone or wearing comfy pants, then this sale is for you. I think that's everyone. If you don't like any of those things, let me know. I'll find something for you. We've got heaps, and it's all on sale, but only for a bit. Visit newzealand.com for deals on flights, experiences, and accommodation.
Hurry, only 2 weeks till the Yoka Challenge is in town. The ultimate obstacle course experience for everyone. From 100 metres to 5K, plus the high-speed pursuit event, Yoka Royale. March 29th and 30th, Penrith Regatta Centre. Book now at yohka.com.
Does your business cash flow need a spark to come off the bench to make that winning play? Prosper's business line of credit can provide your business with a safety net of funds to cover day-to-day expenses. Draw down on what you need when you need it and only pay interest on what you use. Prosper have helped over 50,000 small businesses stay in the game. Apply today at prosper.com. That's PROSPA. T's and C's and standard credit criteria apply.
Shut up! The footy's on Triple M!
Triple M rocks footy.
The Triple M Footy Review for Amy. When clangers happen, it's lucky you're with Amy.
That's right, Triple M Amy Review. Clangers happen. Lucky you're with Amy. Let's head straight down the rooms for the song with Mickey Roberts.
Timing's everything. Just about to tune up. They're taking young Cleary to hospital. Structurally, he's okay. So that's great signs for the Dogs, and let's sing about it.
Stars of the West, woo! Red, white and blue, woo! We'll come out starting. Bulldogs through and through, boys say. Bulldogs fight and Bulldogs rock. We deal with every rest. But you can't be the boys of the Bulldog break for the team of the mighty West.
Pretty gutsy win in the heat. I'll go back to you guys. We're going to talk to Libba, so I'll get him organised. And we'll talk to the skipper.
Good stuff, Robbo. Bob Jane Team Arts. Buy 3, get 1 free, plus instant cash back on Bridgestone, Yokohama, Kumo and Pirelli. Visit bobjane.com.au today. T's and C's apply. How did you see that one? They seem half happy down in the rooms. It wasn't totally convincing, Jono, but they get the 4 points.
Yeah, it's a long season, isn't it? It's a long season, and, there's a few more games to go before they will get excited. And, look, they probably knew that North Melbourne were in it at various times, and I keep talking about when they had that 4-point margin. And I think if the Kangaroos had played like they did, well, majority of the night, they may have be pushed a little bit more than 16 points, and we may have had a little bit more closer. But yeah, it was a bit subdued, wasn't it? It wasn't really up and about. They certainly didn't play their best football, and there's probably a lot of guys out and a lot of guys playing in there knowing when those guys come back, they're going to be out of the side as well. So that's probably why they're a little bit subdued about it all.
Now, while we've got you two, you've been waxing lyrical all night. It's kind of like Jay-Z and Beyonce in the back row there tonight. Let's go to the Triple MVP Awards, starting with your one vote.
Yes, so one vote goes to Nick Larkey. He's kicked the 5 goals. I thought he was... we thought he was outstanding up forward when they went down there, when they isolated him, and he took his opportunities. He kicked 5 straight, so he got our 1 vote, and then our 2 vote that went to Bailey Dale. He was outstanding at 29 possessions. He kicked 2 goals off the half-back flank. He had 1 clearance and a few tackles as well. So he gets our 2 votes, and 3 votes goes to Ed Richards, outstanding from the get-go. He's had 30 possessions, he's had 13 contested balls, kicked 1 goal as well, and he's had 7 clearances and 9 inside forward 50s with a couple of tackles as well. He gets our 3 votes for tonight.
Oh, spot on, Jono. Love the way you roll. It's now time for our Macca's I'm Loving It moment, Jess. This is a really good moment, like our Amy Clangers. We like these big moments in games. We call them beautifully here on Triple M Footy. And tonight's I'm Loving It moment happened in the last quarter. Here's how we called it on Triple M Footy. Sherry slapped it out into the path there of Parker, and his first hit out is Aru. It bounces around with a couple of sets of legs, and then a ball jammed forward for the Dogs. Norton slapped it out for Vandermeer front and centre. Sanders arches the back, pins back the ears, and slides home the major. Just when the Roos got a sniff, Sanders closes the door again. There we go. I won't get too many of those during the year, so I'll take that. I'll hang my hat on that, Osco. Let's head downstairs again for Bob Jane team. Ask Mickey Roberts. You got Libba?
I have. I got the skipper. Yeah, it's beautiful. He's got a smile on his face. Humidity and hot, and they look stuffed completely. But before we get into the game, Luke Cleary, it's one of those things, high speed, heavy clash. They say he's going for just a scan and exploratory, really. He's okay. And got over the line. You must be thrilled.
Yeah, definitely. We I mean, we do have a few out, obviously, but we suppose our response here and there was good. A few things to clean up, probably around the ball, but we're confident we could run out the game well, and we did.
No, and Libba, sorry, it's Sarah Hosking upstairs. Great game. Now, I can hear, obviously, the voice is nice and croaky. You've obviously been out there quite well, but I did notice something a month ago. Now, you must have eaten a raw egg with the boys behind you. Now, is this something that you typically do coming into a game?
Yeah, my throat's still croaky from eating that over a month ago, so I think there's still a bit of shell stuck in there. No, not at all. Harmsy didn't do it properly, so I couldn't let the club be represented by that.
No, it was great. Well, great game tonight. And now talk to me about the boys. Obviously, North started to come back in that second, third quarter, and they were getting a bit of a momentum. But what was sort of the message and going through your head at that time?
I mean, I was probably just seemed to harden up around the ball a bit. I think, our positioning and craft, particularly centre bounce, wasn't great. We sort of let him out the back a bit. We just had to make some adjustments where we would, get up and press and sort of get in their face a bit more. And then, be a bit more careful with the ball. I think, we're probably guilty of a few turnovers or a few sort of gilt-edge contest moments around the ground, which sort of resulted in end-to-end goals. But, we just needed to fix up that sort of hunt inside.
Libba, Chris Johnson, mate. Obviously, there is a few of the guys out. Obviously, you've stepped in for Bont as captain, but the way Ed Richards performed tonight, you guys would walk away pretty happy the way he stood up for you guys.
Yeah, he's a beast. He set the tone really well. I think he dominated the first quarter and gave us a lot of momentum. Set the game up really well for us. So, it was it's unbelievable to have him back in the side.
And talk to me a little bit about some of the new players that you had come in. Obviously, Matt Kennedy across from Carlton, Sam Davidson having his debut. What have some of these young guys been able to do?
I think they've just been able to bring consistency throughout the pre-season. I think particularly Matt Kennedy, he's just a reliable body in there. He can do air and ground sort of stuff. So and his appetite for the contest is really good. And then, Sammy Davidson's a lot of life. He's a very bubbly character, but his work rate and energy certainly adds to that wing. And, he's got very good discipline as well, so he holds his structures well. So, they've both added a lot of value to the team so far.
And Libby, 7 points up at three-quarter time. I guess Bevo and the coaches would have come in, and what were the messages there to sort of run out 16-point winners tonight?
I think, just not sort of do anything over the top. It was don't get overawed, by the margin or get too nervy about that. Just stick to what we know and stick to the game plan, and get that covered, and the scoreboard will tick over.
And I've got a quick little question about Sam Davidson. I don't know if you know this, but there's a little bit of inside scoop that coming from Richmond VFL that I've got some sources telling me that he used to compete in race walking. Now, I think of Kath and Kim. Can you confirm or deny if you know whether this is true or not?
I can't confirm or deny. I don't know what sources you got that from, but
you have to go to work, Libba.
A few of his coaches asked him, because I believe there is some evidence of it too.
Yeah, it's probably I'm not too sure. I can't confirm or deny, but I'm happy to run with it.
Yeah, we'll go with it anyway.
Pardon the pun, but we can definitely race walk with that. No worries.
Yeah. Hey, Libba, next Friday night you take on Collingwood. You're probably not aware, but they won by 91 points tonight against Port Adelaide over at the MCG. Do you get Treloar back for that match?
I'm not sure, mate. I'm not a doctor or physio, so
fair call.
Probably asked the wrong bloke.
Fair enough. I thought I'd just maybe try and tickle it and see if you knew something. But that's okay. You try and stay out of those things, I imagine.
I'll flat back that one.
Well played. Well, good game for you tonight, Libba. Congratulations on getting the 4 points. Your season's off to a great start.
Thank you. Cheers. Have a good night.
Good on you, Libba. That was Tom Liberatore down there with Robbo. Let's go Choice Hotels quickly before we wrap this one up. 91 points, Collingwood, and they'll come and play the Bulldogs next week. Yeah,
it was huge. And as I mentioned before, Dan Houston took the cake for, I think, nearly most disposals, and Tim Membry on debut for 4 goals.
Kicked 4 goals. He did play last week, so it wasn't a debut, but he didn't get much of a sniff last week, but I'll give you that anyway.
No, this is round 1. Well, I thought we were scratching round 0.
He played round 0, but anyway, it's good to see him kicking some goals again. Look, you were great tonight, Hosco. 1 vote for you on the on tonight with your Reds Headlanding stats. Jono, your giggling always gets me up and about, so 2 votes for you, but it's got to be the woman who's made her official debut tonight, Jess Webster, on the play.
Thanks, guys.
Good on you.
Off to a flying start here, Jess.
Thank you. Loved every second.
Tim Solly signing off here from Marble Stadium along with Mickey Roberts. It was a convincing, well, not so convincing at times, but the Bulldogs got the job done under man. They were 17-11, 113. North Melbourne 14-13, 97. So plenty more footy coming up tomorrow here on Triple M. We've got the Crows and St Kilda at Adelaide Oval. Melbourne will take on the Giants at the G, and then we'll round it off with the Eagles and the Suns at Optus Stadium. Signing off here from Marble Stadium, it was the Dogs by 16 points. For McDonald's and Ream Hot Water, Triple M rocks footy.
The Triple M Footy Review for Amy. When clangers happen, it's lucky you're with Amy.
For Ream Hot Water and McDonald's,
Triple M rocks footy.